everything. Thank you so much for your patience.
All right, we're unmuted. I'll just make the adjustment live. I don't care.
Hello, internet.
Hello, internet. How's everyone?
Hey, that means I can push the button.
Yo, unknown. What's up, my dude? How you doing? Thank you for the host, Visa. Appreciate you.
Wow, it's really popping in here.
My
Hey,
people,
player.
your people.
That joke never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
One of his buddies is named Player Unknown, and he's always just call me Unknown. And I always go, "Hey, player, what's up?"
All right, Plier. All right,
Aye.
what's your name, Plier? What you doing?
All right. So, you have all returned from your side adventure of killing bandits, slaying black puddings, and nearly getting eaten, and making your way to Amphel without any further hardships, where you promptly got a room for your you bought rooms and went to sleep so that the squishy ass monk could get some life back.
Hey,
Full health.
I had
Full
health by the end of the fight. I wasn't down yet.
He had full health by the end of the fight.
Sure
But
did.
they still went home and took a nap.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So while you're in Amphel, it's a small, like a lot of the places you've ended up, is small, just kind of trading town on the way to someplace more important. If you need any equipment or want to restock on anything, like look for health potions or whatnot.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I need more quills.
I'm not even in town. What am I talking about?
Nope, you're outside, man.
I'm outside of
Um,
town. Yeah.
I'm in the town, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So as Rensler and Shilga and Theris all come walking downstairs, the monk is already downstairs helping himself to a light breakfast, engaged in pleasant conversation with a dark-skinned elf woman across the table from him.
Oh.
It's a lively conversation they have, and just
Not me.
a lot of back and forth, and just chatting away.
It's me?
Yeah.
It's you.
Okay, I don't know what to say.
A bar, one of the serving women walked by and was like, do you need any coffee, any cheese, fruits? I haven't served you yet. The vegetarian's eating his cheese and his leftover tomatoes from last night. Would you care for anything, miss?
No, I seem to be pretty focused in a book that I'm reading.
Oh, sorry, don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries.
And you're quite black wearing fella. She starts kind of poking you in the side of the head.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
What? How can I help you?
Do you need anything? Any more coffee? We have some. They're a little dried out from last night, but we still have
What
some
I
more
need
tomatoes.
is for you to get. Actually, no, I'm fine.
Oh,
Also,
it's gonna be one of those
DM,
days,
you're an
isn't she?
asshole because I was fixing stuff because that name fucked
Turns around,
everything
starts
up.
walking off. Turns around, starts walking off. It's gonna be another crazy morning, I
Oh,
feel.
it's gonna be one of those days. Saints preserve us.
You see, Lee, as you're having this conversation with the dark-skinned elf woman across the table from you, you
Why
see
am I
Rensler.
dark-skinned?
Because you're a drow.
Well,
I'm a what?
so
If you're a drow, that would be dark skin.
not necessarily. Like there's a range of skin tone. So
Oh, I've never.
okay,
heard that. Okay, sorry.
go ahead and describe yourself then.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. I just didn't know. Like I thought. I don't know.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
No, that works for me. That works for me.
Well, they're on a scale from like a dark
Like a
purple to a
Yeah.
light
Oh, yeah, yeah,
lavender.
like
well, I
that.
mean, you
I
could
like
you
that.
could
I
go
like
like a
that.
lavender purple kind of to a real dark, almost black.
100% a WoW night elf.
Okay,
Okay.
that works for me. What he just said.
Okay, so like a purple toned
Yeah, like very. But
with the.
pale.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Alright, there we go.
So you were sitting next to the fairly, comparatively dark-skinned elf woman.
I look up after being in a daze, after just kind of thinking to myself. I'm like, wait, who are you? And of all the places in here, why are you sitting next to me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you're sitting next to me.
Touche. What I've we've been here for almost going on about a week now. I'm pretty good with
Oh.
faces. Yours is new. What brings you to town?
Oh, I'm just passing through. I've kind of been brought here with my studies. Uh, yeah.
Studies? What are you studying?
Nothing in particular. Just trying to expand my magic capabilities.
Oh, so you're one of those.
I kind of like hide my book a little bit. I don't want you to see what I'm reading.
While she's going to pull it away, I want to kind of take a glance at it, be a little nosy.
Okay,
House
roll
of the
perception.
Barista. What is that?
Oh, okay.
I should get my dice up too.
I
I don't
that's
have,
an 18,
I don't have dice.
but I need my little
You can
holder
use the sheet.
box.
The sheet has.
Yeah,
dice.
on roll 20. Yeah, roll 20 has dice built into it you can use.
Was she supposed to roll something?
No, I'm just talking about getting stuff out.
I was at 18 on that perception check.
Despite her quick movements, you do catch a good clear look at the spine of the, and it something very arcane sounding, something very dark arcane sounding.
I'm like,
Oh, here's a handbook.
oh,
That's
bro.
what I'm reading.
Dude,
I
you're reading the player.
created
She's reading the
Oh,
PHP.
my pawns.
Getting down with that PHP. That's what's up.
Now, it's not the player's handbook. He holds up the monster manual.
Oh God. It's and then she pulls up Xanthar's Guide to Everything.
That's right.
Nectar, nectar.
I kind of say forgive me for being nosy, but I saw that you might be a practitioner of the, I guess, mystical arts, given the fact that you're reading some type of spell book documentation or something like that.
I kind of snap at you. I don't like that you're looking at what I was trying to read. I'm trying to mind my business and read my book. If you'd like, I can move somewhere else.
I kind of stare back at you for a minute. My eyes turn bright white, like no pupil, no iris, they go white. And I lean in closer and I look at her right in her face and I was like, it would behoove you to not get so agitated so fast to strangers that are merely asking you questions. And I lean back.
Alright. Roll intimidate. And Iridori, I need you to roll insight.
Okay.
So you're going to click on a d20.
You don't even have
Okay.
to do that on your character sheet under skills, or you can just scroll down till you see the skills. There's a little dice right beside where it says insight. You can click on that; it'll do everything for you.
Okay.
That's more instruction
Wait.
than I got. Thanks.
Sorry, can you say it? Sorry, say it again.
Yeah, so on your character sheet, it should be on where you can see everything right now. Like right underneath the top of the, well, down just a little bit, it'll say skills, and it'll have all the skills listed. Where it says insight, there's a little dice right next to it. You can click on that, and it'll roll it for you.
Oh, okay.
16.
He rolls a 16.
Nice.
I rolled a 19.
Okay.
Oh boy.
You're trying to discern if he actually means you harm, and there's just enough edge in his voice and the loss of color to his eyes that kind of catch you. You're a little taken back. You're like, ooh, ooh.
Okay.
My eyes kind of fade back to just normal looking eyes. I'm like, sorry, I'm not trying to frighten you. I apologize. I've been going through some really weird changes lately, and I'm just trying to figure out who I am. So I apologize if I frightened you.
There's kind of plops down on the chair right next to him. That's right. He started getting hair in funny places, thinking about lasses more and more.
I look over my shoulder. I'm like, you're good.
You see the human that plopped down next to Lee is in nondescript. He could be late 20s. He could be in his 50s. Like he's just got this kind of agelessness about him. And then the The only noticeable thing is he's wearing a sword belt. And then the man that sits down next to him, long, very thin-faced, high cheekbones, looks almost elven, but is another human.
Mhm.
And he has the same kind of ageless quality about him. He leans across. The first guy leans across the table, and says, "Pleasure to meet you, Theris Galatius, and this is Shilga."
Nice to meet you.
And with that, he turns and starts ordering breakfast. Rensler, what are you doing?
So where we left off last, everybody was drinking, and I got somebody to punch a horse in the pee-pee, right? And then we haven't woke up, so now we're waking up from that point.
Incorrect. You went on a 2 or 3 day adventure, got attacked by bandits,
Yep.
went and found a treasure chest in a cave, almost got eaten by black puddings,
Yep. And came back.
and now you're in the town of Amphil.
He drank so much he forgot the next 3 days.
That's right.
Might as well. I am going.
Chip, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
I'm all jacked up.
I'll come
Way
at
to
you like
kick
a
you in the
spider
face.
monkey.
We had an interesting day. We took a bunch of Chip's old war medals, threw them off the bridge.
So, roughly, you guys are not quite halfway, but you're closer to halfway up to Brightvale. So, if you look at the map, you can see where I'm pinging Brightvale.
Oh, okay. So Sword Mountains, we're halfway. We're about here, right?
You're right here where the cover is.
Oh,
Like I said, you're not halfway, but you're closer to half than.
okay, I am running low on quivers or arrows. I will go to the quiver store.
Okay, so you ask.
Is that where you get your pants too? At the pants store?
Is that where
Yeah.
you get your jokes too?
Oh!
Oh!
Get him, Bailey.
You ask when the serving woman comes over to you and asks if you need anything for breakfast. You inquire about where one might get quills or arrows.
Arrows.
Arrows. You ask about a Fletcher or like a hunter's guild or something. She tells you kind of toward the outskirt of town, there's a tanner who also is the local hunter.
Okay.
So he'll hunt, kill, bring the meat to the butcher, and then keep the hides for himself. And he might be able to provide you some arrows.
Okay, I will go that way.
Okay. It's about 7 in the morning. It's a little early. Not super early because you do see people out and about, but you're not sure if he's out and about yet. But you start heading up that street, and people just kind of give you the real quick glance and then walk away just because you're not from around here. You're not.
I will start doing backflips to my destination.
Okay. Roll acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
I hope he falls and breaks his ass.
Hey, I rolled it. What happened? Acrobatics.
Rolled
Oh,
it
poop.
twice.
Oh, whoops. Okay, so yeah, the first one was 19.
Okay,
didn't
so
make a noise.
you start cartwheeling. Few children that are out going to draw water from the wells to take home to their parents stop and start applauding as you go cartwheeling down the street.
Yes, fantastic.
The mothers that see you doing this down the street kind of give you the disapproving. Roll a dex save real quick.
Oh, Dex save. 14.
You manage narrowly to dodge a giant pile of horse droppings as you go cartwheeling down the road.
Don't go all Biff Tannen on me. Come on, man.
That's it. You land, you finish your somersault, and you're next to what you can tell is the tanners from the smell and the hides that are behind a low fence drying.
Very cool. Yeah, I guess. So is it? I look around. Is the Fletcher open?
You don't see anyone, but you hear people moving around. You just don't see any like open doors or anyone in the yard working.
Oh, okay. All right. What's around me? Besides the
People.
tanner?
There's a 3 foot high kind of picket fence, but it's like rough wood. It's not been painted or it's not well made. Then a 2-story house with a thatched roof. The upper floor is the bottom floor is like brick, and then the upper floor is like wood. And you can hear people through a slightly cracked window at the front, right next to the front door. And you hear like people talking and chairs scraping, plates being cleaned.
Well, I'm on the outskirts of town, right?
Yeah, you're still in the town proper, but you're like not far from where you would just drive out and be back in the country.
So it's 7 a.m. I'm gonna walk right to the border of the town and watch the sunrise. Why not?
Sun up.
Well, all right. I'm just gonna stand
Yeah,
there.
it's late spring, early summer. You stand there for about 10 minutes, and then a kid walks out with 2 buckets on like a yoke, starts heading down, and stops staring at you and goes, "Hey, Pa, strange man standing in the front drive."
Hey.
He drops the yoke and goes, "Nope," right back into the house.
All right. So
You hear the kid muttering as he goes, "I ain't heard of this story. That's how people get snatched up." You gonna ask me if I want a balloon or something? No, hell no.
does he even have balloons
Something
back
about
then?
they all float somewhere. I don't know.
A thin, like you can tell he's in good shape, but he's not like a big guy. It's all lean, hard muscle. Pulling a shirt on, kind of tucking it. Looks like he hasn't slept long, if at all. There's can I help you, sir? Standing right by my house.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the Fletcher to open up so I can get some arrows.
There's no Fletcher here. I'm a tanner by nature, or by trade.
Okay.
But I mean, I do hunt the pelts myself. I do have arrows if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I could take some arrows.
Uh, all right. How much? How many do you need?
I need 15.
I'll sell you 20 for a gold.
Deal.
All right, stay right there. And he goes back in, and you hear a woman's voice, and he's like, you can definitely get the sense without hearing the words. He's like, I don't know what the crazy man's doing standing out there scaring the kid, but I'll get rid of him. Don't worry about it. Comes back with a bundle of serviceable looking arrows.
Are they of good quality?
Roll investigation.
I want to use my 20-sided die, whatever. My new dice. Boom, 15.
Yeah, they're maybe not the best arrows you've ever seen, but for it being kind of rustic, these are well-made arrows because this guy, like you said, makes his money off of hunting animals. So
Very well. Give him double what he offered.
he doesn't even bat an eye; just takes it. Hey, you going down the road now? Have a lovely day.
Fantastic. See you later. And just walk away.
As you're walking away, he pulls out a big scraping knife and goes over to a hide that's already been scraped clean, but he just sits there and kind of like as he's watching you leave, just to make sure you're not doing something.
Great. And I start flipping away. This front flip down the road now.
Roll acrobatics.
Acrobatics. And I died.
Nope, you start flipping and it's going well. You get to that pile of horse poop. You don't dodge it this time. Your hand slips and you kind of
Oh, God.
you roll dex save to see if you fall in it or if you just stuck your hand in it.
I hope he face firsts.
Not today, sunshine.
Yep. You fall flat, but you manage to not fall face down in a pile of horse poop.
Yeah.
However, your right hand is now covered in horse crap.
Well, I will go. Well, they don't have restrooms, do they? And
They have. This doesn't have
Bathhouses.
This doesn't have. This town's too small to have a bathhouse. they do have privies and they do have wash basins.
I will go to the wash basin and wash the poo off of my elbow
you-
down.
You walk back into the inn. And he goes, "Oh, it smells like someone's right up the stairs right now. You get into the wash basin. You get your hands clean before you touch anything. Use your-
Just run up the
You
stairs.
use your left hand to open the door. Don't you get it all over the inn."
All right. Well, I'll use my left hand to open the door and wash my arm.
You see Rensselaer go upstairs and just disappear for a few minutes.
I just look over my shoulder and I'm just kind of just like, what the? I look over at and I look at her. I'm like, I'm sorry. I never even got your name.
Oh, it's Aradori.
Do you have a nickname or something shorter?
How about Dory?
Dory? Well, Dory, I'm Lee. Pleasure to meet you. Also,
Nice to meet you.
that knucklehead is part of my party. Anyway, that's what I've been dealing with for the last
Roll perception, Lee and Dory.
copy.
Perception. Which is which dice?
D20.
Just a d20.
That'll be +6. So she had
Yeah,
a
that's
23.
fine. That's plenty.
9 plus 3 and plus 6. That's going to be a 15.
Okay. You both see Shilga hand Theris a gold coin. Like they're trying to be like he slides across the table, but you definitely see it happen.
Kind of look over at him. I'm like, what was that bet?
Shilga said he'd wait till at least after breakfast to start being a jackass.
I'm like, clearly you don't know him. And then I flip him another gold.
Theris just catches it, puts it in his pouch. Theris turns and looks at Aradori and goes, "So, miss, whereabouts you heading?"
Brightville.
"Oh, chances of the fates, eh? We're heading up to Brightvale too. You're going to hunt some death cultists too?"
Kind of look both ways. Stay silent.
Alright, fair enough. You traveling with any companions or just yourself?
It's just me. Just exploring. If I come across the right party, possibly.
Well, like I said, we're heading that way and we've got a cart. Safer in numbers.
I look down at my book, look back up.
I
Yeah,
can't-
why not?
I was like, they're with me / with them.
Why not? Sure.
Alright, fair
Before
enough.
I loan her to the two brothers, like, do we have about maybe an hour or two where I can go take care of something real quick before we go ahead and get out of Dodge?
Aye, we're not in any particular hurry. So,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. I kind of stand up, kind of nod and address Dory and say, thank you for the conversation. Again, I'm sorry if I scared you. It wasn't my intention. And we'll see what happens with this adventure that we're going on here. And then I just kind of back out and go out the door into the main town.
Dude. Sweet.
Yo, Keegs, thank you for the host.
I packed my
Alright.
book in my bag and I just followed.
You, when you look up from packing your book away, you find the other human, Shilga, kind of not staring, but giving you an appraising and intense look before he just kind of shrugs to himself and looks away.
Okay, so my headset cut out because you guys were talking. Are you still at the table?
No, I followed you.
I kind of look over my shoulder. I'm like, I could have sworn not more than 5 minutes ago, you didn't really seem like you want anything to do with anyone.
I have ulterior motive.
And I kind of nod, acknowledge. I was like, I respect
I
that.
didn't say that out loud.
Well, no, they made it a rule for me. That's a rule for you now too.
Oh.
No, that's fine. If you didn't say it outside, then
That's fine. I mean,
it's
what?
fine.
What happened?
I
I blacked out.
personally think it'd be better if I traveled with a group just because I have goals and it'd be easier to be in a party to accomplish those goals.
I think that is a wise decision. As I kind of start walking, I'm going to continue conversation with her. I need to go to, I guess it would be the blacksmith if they have one, because I want to buy a bow. Or even like, if they have an arcane shop, maybe I can get a little bit a spicier bow. I don't know.
You ask another passing. She said, no magic folk around here. The general store might have. Oh, I sent that man to the Tana. He could have just gone to the general store. Cross the street, 3 down. You, Wilfred's Wonder Emporium. It's mostly brooms and household sundries, but they occasionally have bows and such.
Okay, thank you. Kind of start meandering over there, and I was like, well, I'm going to start calling you Arrow just because it sounds cooler than Dory.
Okay.
Arrow, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Given the fact that you're some type of practicer of the mystic arts, what do you excel in? What is your focus? If you care to share.
As you two are walking and having this conversation, you see a couple older spinster-looking women's giving a disapproving look at Dory as she passes by. Dory, what color armor and clothing are you wearing? Like any bright green or anything?
No, very dark. Plain. I kind of want to blend in look.
Okay, so well kept dark robes, or is it armor?
Yeah, it's kind of like rogue armor, I guess, in a way. Not real, but like it's like dark leather.
Okay. But they just give a disapproving, and I'm gonna need everyone to roll perception. You two to roll perception.
Okay.
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but when I'm rolling that, if it's something that I am proficient in, I get to add my proficiency modifier plus my standard mod, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, making sure. Just want to make sure I'm not screwing these up, so it's another plus 6.
Maybe. Kind of.
16.
16. Dory, what was yours?
It
11
was
plus.
11.
You got a 17. Looks like she rolled it
17.
twice.
Oh, that was last time.
Oh, okay, 11. What is your wisdom modifier?
Let me see. Actually, it's a perception. It'd be a plus 6.
Oh, so you
Okay,
said
so
17.
17.
Yeah.
You hear one of the older, more shouty, louder lines on her face, just angry at the world. It's not bad enough we got them elves running around. Now we got them dark elves running the streets here.
And we hear this in passing.
Yeah, like you can tell she was trying to be quiet, but
Mhm.
apparently a little bit more passion got into her when she made this comment than she imagined.
Kind of stop mid-step, look it over Arrow, and I'm like, how do you want to handle this?
I think that we should ignore it. Because we're leaving this town anyways.
Okay. I
I
respect
kind
it.
of I give them a dirty look, but I don't say anything.
The one who made the comment, you see her tense up visibly as she realized she was heard, and the other woman with her kind of grabs her elbow, and they both kind of turn up their noses and start walking away.
Before they turn around, like, yeah, that's fine. Screw it. I'm not gonna mess with them. It's fine. I'm like, do
Don't
I
worry,
want
my
it?
breath.
Nah.
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 Let's go find
Last time I was dick to somebody that was trying to rob me, I accidentally killed him.
Yeah, let's not do that today.
So
So,
I guess go ahead.
You make it down to the general store, Wilfred's Wonder Emporium, and it is less wonder, more
Or
just
Emporium?
household sundries. Yeah,
Okay.
like you see thrush brooms and whatnot, different sets of crockeries, a couple like place settings for different styles that he can have made or he can order. Some dry food stuffs for people that are traveling, lengths of rope, crates of different sundries. And you meet a little gnomish man, you presume Wilfred.
the one door emporium. Nice. I kind of sit there for a minute, and I was like, Wilfred, I presume.
Hi, good day, good morrow. Yes, Wilfred, how may I help you?
I don't know if you're really gonna be able to help me, but I'm kind of on the look for, realistically, some very particular items, and
Sorry, terribly sorry. You say Wilfred?
that's what I was told. Wilfred's Wonder Emporium.
Does the sign say Wilfred? It said Wildor.
I look over. Did it say Wildor or does it say Wilfred?
It's supposed to say Wildor. It says Wilfred.
I'm like, oh yeah, definitely says Wilfred. Wildor? Question mark.
Damn. Oh, anyway, yes. Sundry items. What can I help you with?
All right. So, I don't even think you're gonna be able to point me in the right direction, not in this town, but I'm looking for really 3 things. One, the simplest item I would be looking for, possibly a good short bow.
Let me. And he starts bustling around and like picking up boxes and crates. Wildor's Wonder Emporium, you find, is woefully like there are a barrel of brooms over here with a stack of brooms over there. Like you see all this stuff and you realize it's more like a warehouse that's been poorly managed. He's just kind of picking up, like he picks up one thing, puts it on piles of something else.
Nice.
Like, oh, now I understand why you can't find. Okay. Eventually, behind in the dark corner, he pulls out. Ah, here you go, short bow. It's basically a long bow for him. He's holding it.
Okay. Does it look to be in all right shape?
Roll investigate.
Ba-da-da-da. Which one do I want to roll? That's a good question.
The D20.
Oh, I mean, I have so many at this point. Investigation?
Yeah.
Most colorful one.
Just use the button.
I mean, I could. Yeah, it looks good to me.
Nothing
Doesn't look
beats
too
girl.
bad.
What'd you Two. The only thing that really catches you is he didn't string it. You definitely saw him pick it up pre-strung,
Okay.
so that might affect it down the road. But when you pull the string still seems taut. Just maybe a little neglected, a little dusty.
Made out of just wood.
Yeah. You don't get any kind of arcane tingle when you touch it, so you're pretty sure it's just a regular short bow.
All right, so well, looks like that's one thing down. Now to get to the nitty gritty. I am looking for something of a. I mean, I've got a cloak, but you don't know anybody in town that can do any type of enchantments, do you?
Oh, no. Nearest enchanter, you'd have to go back to Waterdeep or up to Brightvale. We get folk that travel through, but they don't stay long. And he kind of fixes you with one eye and goes, "No, sorry."
I kind of look back at him. I'm like, and I pull out some coin in my pocket and just kind of start twiddling it through my hands. Are you sure there's nobody here that might be able to help me out? I could really use 2 very particular items.
I mean, there's no enchanters around here. I could maybe help you with the second item. I don't know.
Well, the second item's gonna be more or less. I mean, it'd be same idea. Something that would basically allow somebody to look like something that they're not, or someone perhaps. And I wink at him.
That I might actually have. Hold on. And you see him go scattering around. This time, when he goes like just sticking, you see him start throwing.
He
stuff
comes
behind
back
him.
with a mask. It's like, here you go.
No, you actually lose sight of him.
Okay.
Like you, the only reason you know he's still in here somewhere moving around is you see random stuff start jostling.
Mm-hmm.
Roll perception.
Sure thing. 14.
Okay. you lose completely him for a second, and then right as he's about to come out from behind something behind you, you hear that something rattling, and you turn around in time to see him. I have this, and he motions you over and takes a step up to the counter
Mm-hmm.
and puts down a small locked box.
I was like, I'd assume the item in which you speak of is inside the box.
Ah, yeah, sorry. And he opens it, and it's a small
Paper bag.
It's a small wooden chest, like much like the iron chest you have in your cart,
Mm-hmm.
but it's smaller, and it's just got 2 or 3 rows of rings in it.
I look at these rings. I'm like, Arrow, you're a master, well, a practitioner of the arcane arts. Do you have any idea what these are? Because this is out of my wheelhouse.
You ever seen Sonic the Hedgehog?
I mean, you should probably roll.
If you want to try and you can either do investigation or you can roll Arcana
Arcana?
to see if any of them have
Yeah.
a magical aura about them.
Me?
No.
No, Dory.
Sorry, I'm rolling what?
Either it's your choice. You can roll investigation or Arcana.
Okay.
Just to
'Cause I think
check.
they're both intelligence. Whichever
Yeah.
one gives you the better bonus.
I'll do Arcana.
Mine?
Nice!
That's a crit.
That's a natural 20 plus whatever.
Whatever these other ones might have been, there's
That's both.
a few of them that have minor enchantments on them that are fading. But there's one that's got a nice, bright magic aura, and you can tell the enchantment, the energy coming off of it. It's a
Okay.
ring of disguise.
I'm like, that's perfect. How much?
As she hasn't said anything,
Oh, okay.
you're like, that's perfect, and you pick up the wrong ring.
Well, I thought you. Adam, do you relay this information to me since I asked you so nicely?
I stop you for a second from touching anything, just like kind of gather the situation
Okay.
and what's in front of us. Then I just move my hand back and nod at you.
So I look at you and I'm like, well, kind of like whispering, it's like, which one is the one that would basically confirm and allow me to do what I asked him to do?
You direct him toward a silver ring that has 4 little diamond chips equally spread around the ring.
I
Kinda
pointed at that one.
Hold it up, and I asked him, I was like, what is this? Seeing if he's going to
Oh.
confirm.
Good choice, because I didn't even get a chance to tell you about the Ring of Disguise. But yes, that's the Ring of Disguise.
Excellent. So he was just gonna tell me. Whatever. You killed that 20 though. I'm like, well, this is definitely what I'm gonna be in the wheelhouse for. But this isn't for me. Now, is this magical to the point of being able to, if it's for somebody that's bigger, will this
Oh,
adjust?
it's like most magical items. Anyone can use it. It does not require attunement. It's just a use. It can only be used once a day
Okay.
for an hour.
For an hour? I kind of sit there for a
I
minute.
might
Like,
be wrong. It might be 4 times a day for an hour. Eh.
can we get a check on that?
Yeah, roll.
I'm asking Arrow that she's the mage.
Okay.
Get a check on it.
She wouldn't
Roll
know that
Arcana.
with that natural 20? Come on, man.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I'm
You
still
would.
trying to
Yeah.
get the
Yeah,
hang
she
of
would.
it.
No, you would.
Roll D20.
Wildorf.
You're fine.
Wildorf, a little off on his game because it's still fairly order. Each diamond represents a charge.
4 times a day. Sounds good. And I ask him, how much do you want for this?
How much you got?
I can give you... I kind of just start thinking, just doing some math to myself, and I was like, maybe 30 gold?
Oh no, definitely, definitely more than that.
How much do you want for it? I might be able to scrounge some stuff up. I don't have much on me.
500.
500. I say I can't do 5. I can't.
Okay.
Can you do 2? And I'll have to go back to my chest to get the 2. And I kind of level and was like, look, this isn't for me. It's for a friend of mine that has a hard time going out in public, and people often turn their nose up to them, and he won't even come into towns. It's not even for me. It's for somebody else.
I was confused for a second because I mean the elf woman's right there,
Yeah.
and a lot of folks around here have problems. It took years for them to accept old Wildorf into the town.
Yeah, it's
Like I lived in the town, but I got a lot of dirty looks, and I think they eventually just really took on to the idea that I was a short human with a big nose. And you see he has a big nose.
Yeah.
So it's not for her?
No, it's not for her.
Because I was going to say, let the pretty lady talk her case, but, oh, all right, it's not for her.
I don't need to disguise myself.
No, you don't.
I'm like, you dog.
Let me, do you have any, like, we have bandit troubles in the air. Maybe I could knock some gold off if you go clean up the bandits.
Okay. I also give him I was like, I also have these. Well, we actually just raided a bandit camp. And I actually.
Did you?
Yes, we did. We actually.
Wait. He puts his hand up so it's about your waist, maybe your belly. He goes, big blonde guy, real asshole.
Actually, yeah. And I pull out the daggers that I got off of those people, and I was like, we got these during that fight. And I pull out the Chris daggers with their emblems.
Happy day. Look, 200 gold and the daggers, and we'll call it even.
I shake his hand and say, deal.
All right. But, yeah, why don't you go get the gold and your elf friend can stay here with me? And he kind of slides up to him and is like, hello.
I snicker and I walk out, just kind of stand outside, like walk around the building and turn out and come back in and give him the 200.
When you leave, you see him holding out his hand and goes, Wildor, the wonderful, pleasure to meet you.
I hope you give him the look that you have right now.
It's like,
What?
And he keeps sliding closer and closer to you. He's like, so can Wildor the Wonderful do anything for you, young lady?
No, you can't.
Oh, don't be so certain.
I shuffle back a little bit. My character is very awkward and quiet, but firm. So I don't...
Please, look at the very least, look around. And he pulls from under the counter, he pulls out 2 goblets, pour some wine. Have a drink while you look around. Enjoy the Wonder Emporium.
No, I'm fine. There's nothing I want here.
He's still like, okay. Keep sliding.
I'll mosey
Just-
back into the shop.
He's kind of like found a stack of books and he's propped himself up and doesn't. Dark elf, exotic.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
A few awkward minutes later, Lee comes in.
Put me on his shoulder.
200 gold, good sir.
Kind of look over and just see this, and look over at Arrow and look at her. I was like, I kind of grin and I give her the eyebrows. I'm like,
Oh, I see. I see.
I give him the 200 gold and say, any chance I can get you to throw in that bow?
Sure, why not?
Sweet, thank you, sir.
So he takes it. I says, anything else? Any rations? Any rope?
Actually, I'm still pretty good on food because we haven't had to use them because we've been leeching off the other people. I pull out my quarterstaff that looks like it's literally falling apart. I was like, do you have anything like this, but maybe a little more sturdier?
And you see him kind of dive into the piles. He comes back from the same dark corner, pulls out another staff, basically the same as that, except it's got like a knobby root cluster on one end.
Kind of sit there and look at it, and then I look at my fists, sit there and think for a minute. How much more durability do I have on that staff, would you say?
It's looking pretty well torn up.
Do you have anything maybe more metallic?
You see him. He starts like panning around the room with his finger, and he goes, and he points at a strange lantern that you didn't notice by the door when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
It looks roughly club-sized, but it's all metal.
Mm-hmm.
It has a bunch of like hexagon little figurines on the middle of it.
Mm-hmm. I'm like,
that's probably the most metallic thing, but it's not really a weapon.
I look at it, and will it kind of think to myself as I'm looking at whatever this is, will it work as a bow staff?
No, it's a metal device of about yay big, so about a foot in length. The little hexagonal pieces around the middle kind of slide, and occasionally, like you're kind of turning it over. It makes this weird kind of melodic tone as you accidentally push one of the keys.
Is it like the thing from Masters of the Universe?
Damn thing hasn't worked in years.
Nice. Quildor? What? I look over at Arrow and I kind of walk back over to her and I'm like, do you know what that is?
No.
If it's like some type of... What are those harmonic tones that I'm hearing?
You said it's like
It's a musical instrument of sorts, but a very rare one from the outer realms, I'm told.
Like, well, I mean, I guess that would benefit me if, I was a bard, but I'm not, so...
I mean, only like 2 or 3 of the keys actually make noise anymore.
How could my character figure out what it is?
Roll Arcana.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, that's good enough. You don't know specifically the name of it, but you gather from the way the keys shift around that this was some sort of portaling device to travel to the different realms. But you can also tell that whatever power made it work has long left it.
I think it'd be beneficial for us to have it.
Look, for a pretty woman, I would go 100 gold. But honestly, you're not likely to find the power source to make it work anymore.
As he's talking to her, I kind of go over to Arrow, and like I kind of whisper, and I was like, "Work your magic. Use this to your advantage. He obviously likes you. If you want this, get it cheaper." And I kind of sit back with my arms crossed.
Okay. I kind of seductively lean in.
Nice.
We really need this. Is there any way you can do it cheaper?
There you go.
Roll persuasion.
Okay.
Give her advantage. Give her advantage.
Persuasion.
I'm not giving her advantage. I'm giving him disadvantage.
Okay. Nice.
What is it under 4 stats?
It'll be under the skills.
Oh, persuasion. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay.
15.
So you're talking, and you kind of trace your finger up his bulbous nose and down one of his ears, and he cartoon kind of lifts off his feet, kind of act like wings that kind of carry him up for a second. Oh, all right, 20 gold.
I think that's pretty good.
But in all seriousness, you're not likely to make it work. It'll probably just be a curiosity that you keep.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But my character, she has confidence that she can do something with it.
All right, fair enough. He holds out his hand for the 20 gold.
Touch him again.
Oh.
He takes the 20 gold. Ah, I see Wildor did have something you needed.
Mhm.
And just think, the Wonder Emporium might have more.
I take the glass
You see
of
these-
wine after that and chug it. I'm just really disturbed.
While you walk over to the wine, because you guys have walked over toward the door,
Okay.
roll just you by yourself, roll perception.
Dude, your rolls are on point.
As you're chugging out of the corner of your eye, you see Wildor giving Lee the eh.
I kind of was like, bro, she totally digs you.
He's like, go away.
He's trying to kick me out. I lift my arms up and kind of shrug, and then I just go out the door and I leave them alone.
I finish off the wine and I run after him.
Nice.
But Wildor's Wonder. Oh, well.
What a
You
sad
hear-
moment.
You out and turn, and all of a sudden you hear, they always run away when they get what they want from Wildor.
There's one more stop that I wanted to try to make. Is there anybody or any? They're not quite monasteries. It's more of a temple affiliated with what I'm all about.
No, you know, just as a general knowledge thing, that this place is big enough that it would have somebody come through on a fairly regular basis, but they have like a circuit priest, and it's not the same priest every time, just a random priest like once a month will come through to do services and preside over burials and weddings and whatnot.
Okay. I was like, well, I look over at Arrow. I was like, well, I got what I wanted. I kind of look at the window. I was like, looks like Wildor almost got what he wanted too.
When you turn and look back at the window, you see this bulb with his nose pressed against it, kind of watching you guys leave.
Panning. I was like, all right, well, that's it. Let's go ahead and saddle up and make our way north.
Overhead, you see a buzzard go flying by.
I look
Or
over.
is it a vulture?
It's a vulture.
It's a vulture. You see a larger, and you're like, oh, vulture, okay.
Look up vulture. I was like, all right, cool. So, based off of that, I want to go back to where everybody's getting ready to saddle up and head out and get in a cart and just situate for the travel and look for Rack when we see him. Just let me know.
Yeah.
My character need to find
Find a what?
a weapon.
You have stuff.
Yeah, you have
Oh.
stuff.
Oh, okay.
All right, Rack. Your companion is kind of circling because you've been up for hours waiting for them, and then he comes back and's like, they're loading up now. Let you know.
Okay, I'll make my way around town, kind of toward the way that we were traveling before.
So you head out ahead of them, like you see them start loading stuff in the cart, so you head out. When they start exiting town, you're as close as you want to be because you get ahead of them.
So as
You
we're
guys
go ahead.
you continue north along Long Road.
We're about
Just,
2 days travel away from where we're headed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. While we're on the cart, how
No,
far?
I'm sorry. You're like 3 days,
3 days.
3 or
That's
4
fine.
days.
How far away is Rat? Can we see him?
Can I see you?
I'll say I'm just at a distance.
Okay. So looking up at the vulture, if I was to guesstimate if he's circling, and I take that into consideration, like, are you like a mile ahead, give or take, or?
I'm just around. I'm within. I'll say I'm
He's
within
probably-
like a quarter of a mile.
Okay, that's fine.
But he's probably off in the tree line, kind
yeah,
of
that's
along
fine.
the road.
I kind of sit there, I was getting ready to whistle for him, like call out for him. I was like, kind of step back from it. I was like, now talk to him at camp. But then I look over at Rensler. I'm like, hey, you. He looks at me and waves. I'm like, and I look back at him. I'm like, are you feeling all right, man?
Sometimes.
Okay. You might not be the brightest crayon in the box, but I do know that you do know bows. So I hand him the bow, and I'm like, string this for me, and let me know how it is.
Fantastic. And I string it for him.
Oh, he hands you an already stringed short bow.
String it better.
kinda look-
Fresh
Do you
string.
remember when I was at the last Fletcher, I bought an extra string?
Yeah, that's fine. But he bought an already stringed short bow.
And I want you to restrain it.
So he hands you the short bow, and you look at it, and you look at him, you look at it, you look at. I don't.
What?
Well,
Why
you
would I
said
do
that it, I mean, does this thing look okay? I got it cheap. I want to know if I need any work done to it.
Rolled investigation. I rolled a 5.
You see him intently study it, and he goes, "Yep, it's great."
I'm like, okay, that's fantastic.
Well, can I,
To
can I
you,
use
all you
second
see is him
roll?
intent.
Can I reinvestigate it?
No.
Nope. You just see him intently and studying it. You don't. You can't read from his face
Right, I know.
what he actually got, but you're just like, yeah, it's fine. It looks good.
Well, I shouldn't have to. That technically, I should take the 17, right? Because it's my area of expertise. I shouldn't be taking a standard roll. Just saying.
That's
I've been drinking an awful lot lately. I don't know.
It's fine. Here you go. It's a
I
good bow.
sit there and throw it over my shoulder and sit there and kind of like pull on it, making sure the string doesn't snap.
As you begin to test the weight of your bow and the draw, you realize you didn't buy arrows.
Oh, I know.
Okay. Just in the back of your head, you're like, oh,
I'm aware.
only there was someone with arrows around here.
I have
Exactly.
arrows. Here is 20.
Thank you.
Coincidence.
Dory, roll me perception.
It's arrow.
I'm sorry.
Isn't it so much cooler?
Could be a problem though.
The only thing you really notice is that, in particular, with all the regular birds flying around, there's a vulture or a buzzard flying. Some bird seems to be in a circuit around you.
I get nervous. Oh.
Kind of see the expression on her face of like just uncomfort, and I'm like, what's going on?
I start to feel like maybe my intentions are gonna become clear through outside elements and things that happen. So
Mhm.
I get super nervous and tense
Okay.
because I know the birds are reacting to me and my energies.
Okay, so roll insight.
Well handled. Like
Yep,
Oh.
you 100% think that's
Better.
what's happening.
even better.
You're almost in an introverted, meditative, like you're trying to control your arcane energies, and you're like, I'm not doing anything. I don't know how it could be sensing me, because he's not like right on top of you, but he's definitely circling.
She's kind of just like, "Ah!" oh. I was like, so I probably should have mentioned this. I'm like, we have another friend that kind of, he's not much of a people person. Actually, he's not really a person so much as a thing. Or a monster, even. Let's go with monster, because I feel like he's...
Oh.
You can't hear me saying this. I was like,
Harsh.
and I said there for a
No.
minute, I was like, I think I'm saying this wrong. Here, he's a minotaur. I'll just go with that, because I feel like me saying that is kind of mean. And
As you're stumbling through this explanation,
it would be
Shilga-
xenophobia,
yeah.
actually.
Shilga and Theris are giving you this like, damn, bro, damn.
And I was like, hey, a minotaur is not a person. It's not a human. I don't want to hear it. And that's my rebuttal. And I was
They're
like,
just-
anyways. And I'm like, anyways. I was like, you see that vulture flying around up top? And I point as it's flying.
Yeah.
That's his friend.
Okay.
Okay, I thought you should know that. Bye.
Later.
As you see the anxiety starting to leave her, she's like, "Oh, okay, like it's an animal. Okay, cool." Another bird lands on the cart right next to Lee. It's the biggest raven you've ever seen. It starts pecking him on the shoulder.
And I sit there and I just
Not
do
again.
do one of these, and I'm like, deep breath. I'm like, what do you want, Nicoderm?
And the bird starts pecking you.
I look at the bird and say, can you stop that, please?
It sticks out a leg, and there's a small scrolled note tied to its leg.
I reach over for the little leg letter, and I open it, and I'll read it.
You read rather a note in very fine, tight handwriting.
Mhm.
I hope your travels are treating you well. I'd hope to find out if Silence had been convinced to let my lady help him. You may reply to the bird.
Like, just write back on it or talk to the bird?
That's all the note says. You may reply to the bird.
Okay, not trying to metagame, but he's using message right now, essentially.
No, it's literally just. Hold on a second.
I'm also confused. I didn't know if that would be like send a message with the bird.
Yeah, do I
or,
need to
like,
write
talk
back, or can I
the
talk
bird.
to it? That's what I was like, I'm not trying to metagame, but I'm a little confused here.
What
'Cause
about
it's-
the names again?
Hmm?
The people he was talking about, not in the party.
That's
See-
me.
Yeah, and then there's the two brothers that are on the cart, too.
Oh, okay, okay.
Shilga and...
Shilga, that's what it was.
yeah. And Thaddeus?
I haven't kept notes on that. I can't
Give me a
remember.
minute. I've got it. It's
can pull it up.
Shilga and... God, I wish...
Thaddeus is the last name.
Whose brothers?
Thaddeus,
Each other's.
Morris, Thaddeus.
I wrote
And
these names down. I know I
Shilga.
did.
Hang on. It's in my one.
Shilga and Theris Gladius. There you go.
That's what I
That's
said.
it.
They're brothers, and who?
Yes.
Why are they with us?
So, well, and I sit there for a minute. I'm like, that's real. And I kind of look at you. I was like, and I kind of look back over there and lead, and I was like, that's a
Do
really.
we want like a meta explanation?
No,
real
no,
quick?
I'm doing this in character actually.
Okay.
So I'm like, I just kind of look at them, look over. I was like, honestly, I was like, and I kind of lean in. I was like, there's really no reason for them to be here, other than that. And I kind of sit there for a minute. I was like, now that you mention, I really hope we're not being led into some kind of trap. But they're supposed to help us go fight this death cult, and I'm kind of just like, I never thought about that. I kind of cross
I
my
glance
arms.
over and look at the brothers. Then I look back at you.
and
Sorry,
kinda-
sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
The bird starts pecking you again. It's like,
I
like
look at
he pecks the letter and then pecks you a little bit. Not hard, but like just come on.
I don't know if he wants me to talk to the bird or not, so I basically answer the letter of like, we haven't seen Silence since, was it Waterdeep?
The Waterdeep. No, not even water deep.
Before
Daggerford?
then,
Yeah,
2 towns ago.
No, yeah, Daggerford.
Yeah. So
Do you say that out loud?
I say it to the bird.
The bird bobs it in like a up and down. Okay, got it, and then flies away.
Okay.
Roll Arcana real quick.
I should train my vulture.
It's only a 6.
You should. What are
It's-
you doing?
You know that he has referred to this bird as his minion, as his familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So you get that it's got some sort of magical. So you think you did the right thing.
Okay, sounds good. And we're cruising, I guess. I'm like, well, kind of looking over my shoulder. And I say, well, you know, and I kind of just jump off the cart and I whistle for Rack to see if I can get some kind of acknowledgement or anything like that.
I could never whistle like that. Upsets me greatly.
Is it loud enough that I can hear it?
Roll perception.
I would just say passively.
Well, because he's whistling.
not-
All right, hold on.
I'm
Hold on.
not
Here's
specifically
what we're
like
gonna do. Lee, roll performance.
Performance?
my passive is 17.
I don't know.
Okay.
All right. I mean, I can whistle IRL. Really? All right.
I mean, I can hear
Uh,
that, but you're also right here.
Performance is 10.
We'll say with your perception and his whistle, yeah.
Your
Okay.
performance is always 10. If you know
So
what
I'm
I
gonna
mean.
slowly. I'm gonna make my way within distance to where somebody could see me if they were looking for me, but not.
Mhm.
So I'm not just gonna roll up into camp.
Yeah. Well, the cart's still traveling at
Yeah,
a
we're
brisk
walking
pace.
out.
But yeah, you get far enough out of the tree line that he can easily see you.
Excellent. I kind of hobble on over to him.
Rensler, roll perception.
I heard
Yeah.
you whistle.
Indeed, 21.
Okay.
What's the matter?
About a mile or two up the road, you see something heading toward you.
Are you gonna tell me what the something is, or do I just see something?
You see something
That's
at this
far.
point.
All right, so I see a silhouette, right?
You just see like a dark shape on the horizon and like a smoke cloud or a dust trail as it's coming up the road.
Okay, well I'm walking, or am I in the cart?
That's up to you.
Yeah.
I am at this point standing and looking. I should have bought a monocle.
Spyglass, yeah. Well,
Yeah. Well,
What-
how
what-
far are you
what
out
do
of
you
town?
need?
We're not going back.
you're like 2 or 3 hours out of town at this
Mhm.
point.
Oh shit. Okay, so I stand up and say, "Do you guys see that? Something's coming from in front."
Did you need me?
Probably nothing.
Okay. I say, yeah, Rack, that was me. You got a minute to talk, man? We can catch up. They're not going that fast.
Yeah, that's fine.
I look at him. I'm like, I can't help but notice the last couple of towns that we've gone to and we've visited that you stay outside. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's probably because of the way you look, and you're probably afraid that people aren't gonna, I don't know, take too kindly to your appearance.
There has been some situations where I find it's simpler to be here.
I sit there and I get wide-eyed and I'm just like, and I look at him. I'm like, that's literally the most you said the entire week I've known you. And at that point, I reach into my pocket and I'm like, here, I got you something. And I hold up the ring.
$20. We're gonna go pop some tags.
And
So
go ahead.
I kind of okay. I'll take the ring. Kind of look at it. Does the ring look like it will even fit on my giant hands?
It'll adjust too.
You hold this tiny ring in your hand. But as you watch it, you see it expand.
Okay, that's fair. And what is this for?
I sit there and I kind of like I grab it back from your hand and I kind of just like give me your hand. And I get down on one knee. and
It's appropriate that you get down on one knee because you have to slide it not on his finger.
I'm putting it right on his
Oh,
tallywhacker.
All right. So,
Oh, man.
So I put it on his pinky because everybody likes a dope pinky ring. What's up, Kitty?
the
How you
second,
doing?
the second it touches your ring, there's a kind of electrical current that kind of tingles through your hand.
And then I'm like, well, what we have here is it's a ring of the skies. It will literally let you turn into
Another
basically anything you want for an hour, 4 times a day. So now you can
Becoming
come into
another
towns.
person.
You can disguise yourself however you see fit, so you don't have to feel like you have to stay outside of town. And that's just my way
And
to
the
do it.
ring literally gives you 4 charges of disguise self.
I appreciate that. Did you? Is that a bow?
Yeah, I figured it might benefit me a little bit to, if I'm in some sticky situations, to have a little bit of range. And
Can I see it?
I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you've got it was on the cheap. The guy was kind of sketchy, so yeah, by all means, here, take a look at it. Renzer
take it.
doesn't know his ass from a
I'm
hole
gonna
in the
run my
ground.
hands
So.
over it since it's made of wood. Maybe in a drill, I'm trying to run my hands over it, and I'm like, maybe this will help. I'm gonna cast mending while I do this.
Oh, nice!
You cast it and you feel the magic, the intensity of the spell swell up, but and then you just kind of dissipates. There's no real effect.
That's fine. I'm just gonna hand it back to him. Seems in good repair.
I'm like, what did you just do?
Druid stuff.
And I'm like, and I pull out my bow staff. I'm like, can you do that to this?
I can. What's it made of?
It's wood. It's wooden bow staff.
I'm gonna run my hands over it again. Cast mending again on it. 'Cause it's a cantrip, and I'm gonna be like, here.
It seems better than it was.
I'm like,
It's maybe not 100%, but it's definitely better than before you started whacking on black pudding with it.
There you go.
repairs mundane items is dope. All right, sweet. So it's usable. I'm like, thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
I should retype that.
Was it an
That's
actual
quite right.
usable bow, or did we all just?
Yeah,
say,
as long
like,
as damage is no more than 1 foot in any size. Sweet.
Yeah, so the two ends mostly where you were hitting definitely, like, they're still splinters, but they don't look like they're about to snap.
Excellent. I say, thank you. I'm like, I hope that ring helps you out, man. Because then I sit there and I start spinning my bow around a little bit and just throw it back on my back. I'm like, I appreciate that.
I appreciate the sentiment.
Welcome. Make my way back to the cart.
Okay. Renzler, you told Theris and Shilga about the. I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Cool. What did I tell him about? Because you were like, you just told Chilga about
The thing that's a couple miles down the road coming
Okay.
toward you. They
Okay,
don't seem to be concerned.
So now a couple minutes has passed since they gave each other's bows and stuff. So I'm gonna look again. Obviously, what do I see?
Same thing. Like, it's still far enough away you can't quite make out what it is, but it's moving towards you. Moving fairly quickly.
But I still can't see it, even though they were talking for like 4 minutes, right?
Nope.
Has
The
My-
thing,
What about his bird? Yeah.
I was about to ask, has my bird changed any kind of inclination toward anything new?
your bird sees the same kind of thing. Like, there's something coming toward it. It doesn't like oh no, there are no warning scents going off. It's not particularly disturbed that something's coming down the
Okay.
road.
In that case, I'm just gonna like slink back into the woods just a little bit and
All right.
keep
Well,
my distance.
I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but I guess chill.
After some more traveling happens, what you see is a carriage with like a couple horsemen, a couple mounted guards on the front and the back of it, and they kind of slow down as you guys are approaching. The lead guardsman, when they stop, you see it's two in the front, two in the back,
Okay.
and the curtains kind of drawn aside, and one of the guardsmen goes over and there's a brief conversation, and they kind of wait for you to get a little bit closer and go, "Well met, well met. What news travels the road?"
Is he talking to you?
I'm not
Who
He's
there.
is
addressing the
talking to?
cart.
Oh, he's
You're on the
everybody.
front.
I'm not
There's-
there. I
I'm
went
talking to
into
my
the woods.
brother.
Ferris and she'll go kind of look at you guys like,
I sit there and kind of just shake my head. I'm like, "Good day. We're on our way to the north side of the mountains. About 3 days travel out. How fare you, sir?"
I ask about the news on the road. Any bandits about? Any obstructions?
We
thus far.
not recently. We took out some bandits way back, before the town we just left a couple hours ago. But we
Oh,
haven't.
is it big blonde fella, wide, stocky?
Yeah, used to be. He's no more. He's
Oh,
gone.
Real
what is
asshole?
what's
Oh
up?
yeah, he's dead.
Well met, good day.
Yeah.
This is joyous news. And he turns to go to the lady, or you see a very delicate hand. You're not sure if it's a man or a lady, but the perfume scent, you kind of think it's a lady.
Hmm.
And she holds out a handkerchief to the guard,
Mhm.
who brings it over to you, the mouthpiece of the group, and says, "My lady gives you a token for your heroic bravery." And while he's holding it out in one hand, he's waving the other guards in the carriage on.
I'm like, and being that my character has no idea what I'm supposed to do with it, like I smell it, kind of blow my nose in it, I guess, and then just put it in my pocket.
The guard
Okay, Shrek.
unfazed, but there's a kind of like stonewall face, but he kind of rolls his eyes a little bit, like country bumpkin. Got it. Yes. My lady says if you head to Brightvale, 'tis a grim place of late. Much of the joy has left the town, but she is heading down to Waterdeep, where it is a better climate.
Okay, so you guys are headed back to where we came from. Sounds good. You shouldn't have any trouble.
Fair travels, and he goes to catch up with them.
All right.
I'm gonna speed this up. The
Yep.
next few days, you keep setting watches and whatnot, and nothing. You've taken out the major bandit incursion in the area. Occasionally, in the night or in the morning or evening, you see groups scurrying, but they notice the Minotaur not far off. They're like, "Oh, it's that group. No, let's go."
A Minotaur.
Apparently, your reputation precedes you.
What about mine? Oh
I'm
no,
a
I'm
little
just the
hard to
hero of
miss.
the town. Never mind.
So, over the next few days, you find yourself on a fairly new stretch of ground that has been converted into a road leading between the mountain and the forest. As you come up on a newer looking rock wall that outlines this recently expanded town. There are two guards in livery at the gates. Hold. What business brings you to Brightvale?
Hey, Swan, thank you for the host. We're passing through on the way to our destination.
And what, if I might ask, what is your destination?
We are headed north to the mountains.
Sword Mountains, yes.
Right.
Are you with them?
Yeah, I'll say I'm with them. As we were approaching this wall, I've donned my ring.
Okay. So, what form have you assumed?
A very large man.
Okay. 7-footish.
Ish. Like
Okay.
a little bit shorter, but like within
Okay.
reason.
Okay.
Upper end
So
of Goliath size.
yeah, I got you. So there's a moment where you speak, and this deep, sonorous voice comes out, and the guards both take a step back. It's like, oh, well met, giant kin man person. You have reached your destination. If Brightvale is where you're coming, please step down out of the wagon so we may inspect.
Sure.
Motion to everybody, just kind of step forward.
2 guards that are on the inside of the gate come out and start inspecting. Have you anything to declare? Any illicit or medicinal potions that you're carrying? Any wares for sale?
Actually,
No.
I kind of huff. I want to reach it back behind me and pull out my herbalism kit and just kind of set it on the cart and let it open up.
The guy that's talking comes over and kind of pokes around. It's like, this is fine. The only thing they do is they kind of pull everything that's kind of tucked under the bench back a little bit, and you see a full suit of armor has been stowed under there and a big shield. And Theris goes, all right, it's mine. Well, fair enough. A few minutes, they're like, all right, what business have you in Brightvale since you've come this far?
Give Lee a
Yeah.
nudge forward.
All right, so
Kind of slink back a little bit.
All right, so this is the destination then, right? If I'm looking at the map.
Yes.
I was like, well, if you must know, we're here looking for a group of cultists that we're looking to help get rid of.
Then you'll want to go speak to Lord Teldrathane. The city is in Spoke Hub.
Mhm.
So take the main road all the way down. You'll hit the central plaza, and the Lord's Manor will be up on a small hill. Tell the guard, and he snaps his fingers, and a scribe runs over and writes you a writ of passage and says, no illicit materials, seem to be of sound mind, wish to apply for minimum service to the Lord. Take this to the gate captain, and he will arrange that you have information and the such. Be wary. The streets are pleasant but unsafe as of late.
I'm like, understood, but if there's one thing I think we're capable of at this point, then we're not afraid of, it's definitely a fight. Appreciate you. And
he waves you through. Another wagon's about half a mile behind you guys, and you see them basically setting up to do the whole thing all over again.
kinda,
When you enter the city,
okay.
it's a well-kept kind of got a Swiss mountain village vibe to it. A lot of brick with like wood-trimmed accent pieces. The street's very clean, but when you see people, they've got this very haunted look on their face. Like the second new people enter, kids go inside, doors are shut, shutters are kind of flipped, and they're just kind of watching you go by.
Kind of look over at Rack, and I'm like, I understand how you feel. This is very uncomfortable. And I put my hand on her shoulder and say, I'm sorry.
Put your hand on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Do you want to, if you want to roll insight?
Okay.
Anyone who wants to try and discern this behavior.
13.
Okay.
Oh,
Can I roll two?
19.
Yeah.
Insight.
About me or me as well?
Everything.
Yeah.
All of the
Oh,
rolls.
me as well. Okay.
There we go.
Am I the
Okay.
only one that got
13,
anywhere on that?
19, 4, 10.
Arrow, you assume that it's because you're a dark elf. Like you're just still concerned that your mystic energies are giving off this, and that's why people are turning away. Rack, you're not 100. Like you're just used to it. You don't even really pay attention to it. Lee, you assume that it's because you're strangers.
Yeah.
And Rensler, of all people, chimes in with it. It's the cultist.
There it is.
It's not that we're new. It's that
Hey,
we're
what do you
not.
mean
They
of
don't
all
know us.
people?
So, all right. Can you
There-
compile on that? Because that was a little confusing.
He's like, it's not that we're strangers. It's that we're new people. And apparently, he's led into the impression that it's because the cultists show up tend to be new people.
Oh, okay. So they think we're
So
the
I'm gonna-
cultists. Okay.
Push my I'm gonna walk past him, kind of shoulder check him a little bit, and maybe for some of you.
Rensler, where are you in the? Are you in the wagon or are you walking?
I am.
He can be in the wagon. I'm big enough to shoulder check him from the.
I know it doesn't matter where.
I thought I was sitting in between Shilga and Theris.
That's fine. I can just walk
Sure,
past
doesn't
him and say
matter.
under my breath.
So
Okay.
he walks past Baltimore and punches me in the face and goes down the
Just out of his way. What was that for?
All right. But yeah, Rensler is like, no, it's they're worried that we're more cultist.
I'm like, that makes sense to me. I'm like, and like, I mean, with all due respect, and I kind of like look around. I'm like, well, judging by what 3/4 of us are wearing, I was like, I don't really blame them. And kind of, I keep my hood on still. I'm kind of like looking around. I'm like, well, look over that way. I'm like, the only thing we're
There's
missing at
not-
this point is the cure. And I laugh.
There's goes the cure to what?
Oh, it's a music thing. That's fine. It's way out there. Just
You can cure music. You're a bard. I always thought you were a monk.
indeed. I just leave him completely puzzled.
He gives you this. Every so often on the side streets, you see little courtyard areas that are like neighborhood markets. They're like little mom and pop stands, but as you get closer to the center of town where the big courtyard market are, you hear more activity. And when you get closer to that, it seems more and more like a regular town. You see several patrols pass you by on your way into town. They give you long, appraising looks. Only once are you stopped, and Theris hands him the writ that you were given at the gate.
Mhm.
All right, move along. It's Gate Captain Danielle today.
All right.
When you get into the actual open courtyard, it's a giant cobblestone with a fountain in the middle. On the far side of it, this circular area is a slight hill with a long, wide mansion of white stone. Very bright looking, shiny place. But even at this distance, with the bright sunlight shining out of it, there's still kind of a pallor of dirt and like a fine film that kind of mars the beauty of the place. But the people here, while they spare you quick glances, they're not rushing off like the people on the outskirts were.
So, I guess find one of those guards and tell them that we request a meeting with Lord Telrathane.
As you come close, you see what appears to be a beggar man run up and waving his hand to get your attention. Oh, good sir, I had hoped that you would come. I had hoped that I'd find you here.
Look over and see if he's addressing anyone directly.
You see him the voice catches your attention. You turn and look, and there's a man with a cloak pulled down over his face, right next to the cart, kind of holding on, kind of trotting to keep up with the wagon.
I'm like,
Can I perception investigate
Yeah,
something
go ahead.
to see if I know this person?
Yeah,
I guess it would be perception. Yeah.
yeah, that'll work.
23.
It's the cultist that you let go.
Oh.
He pulls back his hood. It's me. I'm so happy you're here. Come, I'll take you, and we'll talk about the matron mother. I don't think the leader, the mistress of the prophet is here, but come with me. I can take you to the others.
The way he
I'll-
talks reminds me of Igor from the Frankenstein movie.
I'm gonna look to Lee. I'm gonna go look for the bird. I'm gonna take off with him.
I nod.
As it's, he's kind of gripping your arm in this don't go, and guiding, but if you run, he's gonna try and hold on to you. Just weird kind of. I'm so glad you're here. Don't you fucking leave. And he's kind of walking you through this crowd, and people are just like, tall man, beggar guy. I don't want to know what's going on.
Before they take
And,
off, I want to lean down to Rack, and I flat out look at it, and I'm like, and I straight up tell him, I was like, how does he even know who you are?
Roll insight.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume just association.
But you're not you right now.
True.
16.
That's a 10
Huh?
16.
and a 10.
You notice what he didn't have before on the pinky of his left hand is a ring.
The cultist has one on it?
Yep.
Okay.
He goes, come, and we don't call her in front of it because she's rather touchy. But the deformed maiden isn't. I don't think she's here. I don't think she's currently here. And by that time you go, hey, tall man, where are you going?
He said he had something for me. I'll be back.
And you turn and see it's two guards, one with a rope and a knot over his right shoulder pauldron. He's like, it's one of them cultists! And the man bolts. And two guards go tearing off after him.
Hang on.
The sword hiss out of their scabbard and are pointed at you as two guards stay with you. And a ring
While
of
he's
guards.
going to sprint, I'm going. As soon as he tries to take off and leave me, I'm
Uh-huh.
going to go ahead and I just want to whip a thorn whip at him.
Okay.
But the guards are there, aren't they?
So he's not attacking the guards.
No, they're a few feet away. Whenever he starts to bolt,
Gotcha.
dang it! Why didn't that work? My buttons aren't set. That one.
Take a mulligan on that roll.
It didn't even roll.
No,
Oh,
it
shit.
just said.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't see the roll.
What, you don't
Okay,
see that?
there
It's a
we go.
23. Come on, everybody sees it, but you. Oh, just kidding.
I just forgot to click it. There we go. An 18 versus his AC.
It's the weirdest thing. You see it hit, and you see him stagger from the pain, but that's all the effect it has on him.
He doesn't move
No,
because I
he
can
keeps,
pull him with that.
No, that's and the second you try and halt him, just
When I see that happen, I make the same exact whistle that I did the last time I got his attention. Go, and then as that happens, he looks at me and I go like this. I point at my pinky and I point at him.
the cart is now surrounded by guardsmen with drawn spears and halberds,
Oh no.
The guard captain and his lieutenant are right in front of Rack with swords drawn.
While he's sitting there surrounded, I'm gonna get out of the cart and then I'm gonna kind of just put my
The
hand.
second you start moving, a spear is
That's fine.
thrust.
I literally go like this. Stand up.
No, like they're pushing you back into the cart by spear point. They'll hold you there.
Kind of look around for a minute. Like starting to get a little agitated. My
Can I
my
do
eyes
something?
are starting to flicker. I look over at Arrow.
Arrow, yeah, you can do something.
So I've kind of been hanging back the entire time, and like I said, I kind of blend in. I don't want to stick out. Been watching
Okay.
from a distance. I don't know anything about these cultists that are being mentioned. So I'm kind of sitting back behind a corner. I'm wondering if I can do some sort of like teleportation spell.
Let me.
You have some stuff. I don't know if you have one of those. Spell
I don't
book.
think.
What? I don't.
I don't think you would have
Do you
dimension.
have blink or anything like that? Teleport's a later for sure. I know
Well,
that.
if I'm a necromancer, can I like summon some sort of distraction?
Roll insight real quick.
Okay.
Okay. You have heard enough rumors traveling up and down about bandits, and the closer you get to Brightvale, the few farming houses and whatnot that you've passed, you hear more and more about a death cult in Brightvale. You have the distinct thought that if you summoned any kind of minion at this exact tense
That would
moment,
be bad.
it would set off a chain reaction of death and blood.
Oh, okay. I guess I just sit and watch the situation unfold then. I'm not close enough to anyone to try to do anything right now.
Okay. So you're kind of just standing off to the side in the milling crowd, watching this kind of play out. Theris and Shilgar are just sitting there.
I'm like, I kind of sit there. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, we're not this fucking cult that you and the rest of this town are afraid of. We're here to help stop them. Now, would everybody please calm down? And I say that out loud.
The captain taps you with the flat of his blade, Rack, and motions you back toward the cart with your companions.
I really don't like that. Oh, I really don't like that.
I look at Rack and I see him starting to get antsy, and I'm just like,
I'm going to like stand up to my full. While I'm like coming back up, I'm gonna shift my form to be my full size, just not my full look, and I'm gonna just walk very slowly back toward the cart.
Roll intimidate.
Fuck you.
oh.
Not as good.
The lieutenant takes two big hurried step back, and the captain, as he's like on the verge of bolting, doesn't break his eye contact with you, grabs him and pulls him back in line with him. Says, yes, you're a very big man. Well done. With your friends, please.
Oh, I was already walking that way. You know. Unless you get snooty, that's fine. His head can come off firstly.
Once they get you all together, like, do you know that man who ran off into the crowd?
Who is he addressing?
All of you.
I look over at Rack. Whoa, okay, weird. I look over at Rack, and I'm kind of just like raising an eyebrow, kind of hoping he picks up what I'm saying. I was like, if you want to tell him, tell him. If not, we're keeping our mouth shut.
I'm just gonna nod.
I'm like, kind of sits there and is like, not entirely. He is a contact for us, and with all due respect, that contact would like to be left anonymous. He means no harm to nobody. Think nothing of him.
That man is a known cultist of this death cult that plagues our town.
He is our contact to help us infiltrate that cult.
What business brings you to Brightvale?
We literally told you, look up this guy about 20 minutes ago, that we're here to help get rid of this cult. Again, I say, he is our contact to help us infiltrate that cult.
You realize this is not the same patrol that you talked to 20 minutes ago? This is the gate captain.
Okay, well then I reiterate the same thing. I'm like, well, the same thing we told the rest of your posse back there. Which I
Let
don't
me see your writ.
hand him the letter. I'm like, y'all need some communication. And I toss it to him.
He steps away and starts reading over it.
And I break into dance.
Okay, roll performance.
While he's dancing, I kick him off the cart.
Hold on, roll your performance.
Hold on. I refresh the screen. Give me a second. Performance. Character sheet. Performance.
It's a couple of the kids start kind of clapping in time to your steps. The guards do not seem to give a crap. Now roll a deck save and Lee roll an attack.
I rolled a 1.
He did roll a 1.
You know what's really funny? Even
Oh,
with
I
as
rolled a
bad as
20.
I rolled, even with a 2, I still beat him.
Okay.
It was a 2 plus 6.
So
Well,
you get hit by Lee.
are we level 4 or level 5?
5.
Jeez. You're level 5.
Okay, so the level 5 should show on the character sheet, and that should reflect some of our rolls, right? Because it's plus our character level.
If you didn't change them in the roll 20, then no, it won't.
It won't let me change it in roll 20. It's a
Oh,
circle
okay.
with a line through it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well,
You can adjust
The
it.
deck save was to see that if Lee hit you or not. If you fell out of the cart, you fall out
I
of
was
the cart.
literally trying to push him in the cart. Good.
Thankfully, the guards that are watching you dance see Lee kick you and like, all right, so he's not trying to escape. We're not going to stab him to death. Cool.
As it
Yeah,
gives
so
me that
dancing-
paper back now, if you would please, we would really, really like to meet with Lord Telrathane to address the business that we have here.
He taps the paper against his lip for a minute and then hands it back to you.
I reach for it.
Snaps his fingers, and all the guards snap their spears to attention. Like, escort them into the palace, into the manse. We will talk more inside.
Sit back down in the cart, kind of like get a little bit closer to Arrow and lean in. I'm like, I don't like this.
Arrow, did you join them, or are you still outside?
Oh, I thought
In
she
the
was in the
milling mass.
cart. Oh, my bad.
She said she was in the milling mass of people watching from the outside.
Well, you said they snap to attention.
Yeah, they're not going to run anyone through right now.
Okay, I slowly walk up, but they don't notice me. But I reach.
You are
in
correct. They
and-
don't notice you.
Okay. I agree with him. I agree with Lee that the situation's bad. We need to get out as quickly as possible.
The something in gets the guard's attention, and he looks back, and you kind of ghost by him, and he looks back, and he's trying to figure out if you were by the cart the whole time. He just didn't catch you. He was like,
I don't make eye
as she's
contact.
joined us, as we start to head toward what I'm assuming is the gate, the door, I'm gonna go
Mhm.
ahead and just let my disguise self drop.
um,
And I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna huff at him while I walk on past.
there are several large gasps, and several of the guardsmen pull out their spears and start pointing them at you again. and the cry goes out, Minotaur! Minotaur! And the gate captain, like as one guy thrusts his spear at you, smacks it away with the flat of his blade, and goes, I would recommend no more surprises until we have settled a few things.
Oh, I really want a wild shape right now.
And I'm sitting there just knowing what this guy can turn into. I'm just like, oh.
So I'm just like full stride now, like really proud, just find being myself for a change.
Walk tall,
Um,
be proud, go Goomba.
There is a very, very tense few minutes as you're escorted in to a stable area. If you would all come, dismount the wagon. Guardsmen, check the wagon. There will be refreshments provided.
Kind of stand up in the cart, and I was like, with all due respect, and at this point, I feel like none has been given to me and my companions here. I hope you don't treat all your visitors that come to help you this way. And I jump off the cart.
The guard captain goes, no respect has been given, but no disrespect has been given either.
And
Well-
I flat out said, I was like, then you need to learn what disrespect is, because we've shown up here. You literally greet us with hostile intentions, is what it seems to be. You hold us at literally at spear point.
So
When-
while he's doing this and starting to get into this, I'm gonna walk up behind him and kind of clasp him on the shoulder and start to pull him a little bit. Be like, "Come, small fish."
Sit there, take a deep breath, and I'm like,
As you're kind of pulled back by the Minotaur, were it not for the Minotaur's reaction of trying to stop that man, you would all probably be in pain and bleeding. He is honestly the only reason we have not simply attacked.
but they didn't even know he was a minotaur.
You are
They do
correct.
now.
We did not. But now that I know he is a Minotaur, it is even more impressive that he would attack a cultist, since it is possible that more monstrous type folk would be in league with them.
Or maybe if you would just care to talk to the guy, you would know that we literally. And I sit there, and I'm sitting there, and like I look at Rack. My eyes are starting to like glow again, and I'm just like, I'm kind of like
Just
sit
gonna
there,
shake my head.
take a deep breath again, still livid piss, and I sit there, and I just pull my hood over my eyes.
You are taken into it's not a room so much as it's like a converted stable. Like one whole side is open to the courtyard, but there are tables to relax and refreshments, cheese, small light finger foods are brought as they basically pull everything apart on the wagon and give it a good inspection. Every bag is gone through, and then everything's put back in good order. After about a half hour of this type things, the guards occasionally ask if anyone needs to go to the bathroom or anything, but you're not allowed to leave where you're at.
I just look at him, raise an eyebrow, give him one of these, and just go sit off in a corner by myself.
The gate captain Danielle is standing there, and you see an older, more mature, little gray at the temples, long dark hair that's straight with a kind of iron circlet on his head. Well-made clothes are off to the side, and he kind of turns and goes, "Yes, yes, sir. These are the ones I have spoken of. As the Minotaur was the one who stopped, or tried to stop the cultist. The small sulky one in the back has bad attitude, but the gate guard did right them, and so they must have presented a reasonable plea to not to come help with the cultist." The gentleman's square lantern jaw just kind of. I would speak with them. Right this way, my lord. All, please attend. This is Lord Terrathane, ruler of these lands, and leader, commander of the Brightveil Guard. I present this ragamuffin group with the Minotaur. I think the Minotaur is the leader. He is most restrained of group.
I'm gonna reach behind me. I'm gonna grab Lee and I'm gonna pull him forward.
There's and Shulga. Like, none of your weapons were taken or anything, but you've been watched by several groups of guards. So Theris, at the mention of the Minotaur being the leader, just kind of smiled like, okay, go get him, boys.
Kind of step forward. I'm like, there is no leadership here. We all work together.
Like,
Oh.
look at me. Look at me. I am the captain now.
I sit there. I'm like, all right, fine. He's the leader. And I step back, and I'm just like,
The guy that's looking at you, Lord Telverthane,
right.
has bright crystal blue eyes, and when he looks over you, there's kind of chill that passes over of just this intense gaze. There's no smile or smirk. There's no reading what he's doing, but he's just kind of considering all of you. He seems to linger longest on Theris and Shulga. You say you've come to help with the cultist?
Look over at Renzo. I'm like, I don't know, leader. Did we?
No, we didn't come with the cultists. The cultists just so happened to find us, but we are looking for the cultists, but we are not part of.
Please explain then how this cultist knows to come talk to you.
So we were. We stumbled upon a cultist ritual, and we were attacked by him and some of his fellows. We killed all the others. We let him go on the terms of him bringing us to his cultist leader, and that's where we are headed.
So,
And not an agreement.
so you have come here to meet with the cultist, but you insist that you are here to help me with my cult problem?
We came here to eradicate your cultist problem.
And this is why you decide to go meet with the cultist?
If you have a rat problem, do you go and meet with the rats, or do you just kill them?
I just go kill them. I don't go and meet with the cultist or the rat.
I sit there and I'm like, well, and I kind of sit there and I'm just like, and I kind of mutter myself. I'm like, what is with these people? I'm like, if you don't know, well, I mean, you haven't told us that you do, so I'm gonna be assuming that you don't know where this group of cultists are held up, and this individual is going to take us to this cultist area that you don't know of. Wouldn't you, by chance, just maybe need a way in, like a locked door? He's the key to that door. There you go.
But you see the predicament I have. The only people who go to the cultist are the other cultist. And you claim to be here to help. And yet you are going to meet with the cultist. Does this not seem unusual?
No,
But-
you're making it unusual. You're taking
So, in
the
your
straight road and
complete-
going to the left. It doesn't make any sense what you're saying.
In
We
the
came here to
complete-
help you with your cultist problem, but yet you're standing here telling us that we want to, quote unquote, meet with the cultists, but yet we don't want to destroy them, but yet we really do want to destroy them. So either you're going to
Gate
let us
Captain
go-
Daniel, tell me,
Who?
did the Minotaur resist when the cultists tried to take him? And the captain goes, not until we approached and told him to identify and to halt. The cultists ran, and the Minotaur tried to some sort of magic on him. It did not work. Hmm. But up to being attested by guards was seeming to go with the cultist. Uh, yeah. Do you see? While I don't doubt that you are coming to help, but it is under very suspicious circumstances I now find one of you was going with the cultist.
So the one that was going with the cultist, and I kind of look over at Rack and I'm like, kind of looking, I was like, sorry, but I'm going to tell him what happened. I was like, that guy was going to be, this Minotaur here, was going to be one of their sacrifices. We rescued him after an intense battle from this group of cultists, and I'll be honest with you, I was going to kill that guy that just ran off. And I look over at the two brothers, but these two guys right here, I point at him. I was like, they suggested that it would benefit us to use this guy as a way to infiltrate this group. And we released him. He told us to meet him in this town, and he was going to take us there. Now, the way I sees it is realistically, you've got yourself a couple of options here. One,
Stop. Roll persuasion. And if anyone would, I'd roll with advantage because Renzer and you have been talking this whole time trying to convince him.
okay.
All right, I'm rolling too.
Persuasion?
Yeah,
That's charisma or whiz? Charisma, right?
charisma. Yep.
That's a 20. I'll roll again, but it was unnatural.
Nice.
Okay.
The other one was an 18.
Okay.
So do
In
you
the
want me to go
future-
ahead with what I said with my options in? Because it'll round it out.
Nah, he's just like completely. In the future, when you come to help and you have an in like this, you would probably best to make contact first, so there's less suspicion when you start going off with cultist. But
Yeah,
I
you
do
can have a
appreciate
chance to
your
kill
help
anybody.
and that you are welcome. However, I don't think you will be able to approach these cultists again, as they have now established that you are here to help us, not them. Captain Daniel, I leave them in your care, but I would like a personal interview with the group later. Perhaps a luncheon, if this is all right.
Sure.
Absolutely.
It will be a late luncheon, as it is already lunchtime, but they will find you quarters and get the details of your abilities, so that we may speak more frankly later. He turns and leaves. Captain Danielle goes, if you come, please. We will, I will exchange with you the information we have about the cultist, and you will exchange with me your abilities so that we may find good use for you. He leads you off to the side. The guy, Lord Talberthane, heads back up to his mini mansion, or his mansion, and he leads you across the courtyard to serviceable but very aesthetically plain barracks. There are several barracks for mercenary groups. Most are out hunting the cultists, but you may have this one. It is Barracks 2. Barracks 1 is on the other side of the stable, and that is for regular soldiers. If you need anything from regular soldiers, you go there. Now, we know this is where the cultists tend to come. We do not know why. It seemed, though, that they might have started in this region. And they are led by a druid woman of dwarven descent that they call the Misshaped, Misshaped Maiden. She is dwarf on head, but elfantine body, but like 7 foot tall. She wears bones in leather armor, and is I gifted with strange powers. And she is elusive and always seen with a former servant of Lord Terrathane, which is, I think, part of the ire to contact them, and crush them. The prophet of this steward woman is called Master Bauer, who used to be the head steward or major domo.
So at the first one, my character's kind of checked out and just kind of like business, people being people. Just too much conversation, not enough people actually doing what needs to be done. Checked out completely. And then here's
Okay.
Druid and kind of perks up, and then here's Druid again. My character's gonna spit on the floor whenever he says Druid.
This is a very clean place. You please not do.
No Druid. We're in a death cult like this.
I cannot speak to that. I am a fighter myself, a guardsman, obviously, but she has, how you say, the wild shape, but she has powers that are not druidic in nature. She can do the scorching rays like a wizard or sorcerer.
She's not Druid.
She casts spells out of her fingers. As a matter of fact, one of the spells is Death Finger. If it kills you, you come back as a minion zombie. She fights as if she has no end of life. It is all very strange. Very, very briefly, early on, there were 3 others with her, and it seems as though she had turned from this path, and then something broke this group, and now she is back to evil matron. And the vampire she traveled with has gone elsewhere. The the Goliath, and we know these people because they were actually here 3-4 years ago.
When I'm sitting there for a minute, I'm kind of like thinking, I'm like, this all sounds so familiar.
There is in the initial raid where they revealed themselves treacherous peoples, one was captured, and he has since been detained in the dungeons and maintains his innocence as a worshipper of Edro, a merfolk god, which is unusual as he half-elf.
And I say, like, where is this person?
Down in the dungeons.
Can we speak to them?
It can be brought up with your interview with Lord Terrathane after the luncheon, maybe?
Okay. I feel since, well, at this point, if our contact at this point is no longer a contact because, well,
I do not subscribe to the Lord's opinion. I personally, were I to be a cultist and had cultist contacts on the inside to pass information, this would be a good thing, yeah?
exactly.
So I think that they might try to contact. The whole circumstances were unfortunate, but he obviously believed you. Otherwise, you would be in the jail next to this cleric who's been there for 4 years. Now, I want you briefly. You are all of you gifted with abilities, and I'd like to catalog so you may speak with my lord.
Okay. Ask.
Then he one by one starts going over who you are, what you do, what can you do to help. I start with your captain, is only proper of rank. He turns to Rensler, and you are captain.
Yes.
No, what's your name, Captain? Captain
Rinsler.
Rensler. And what you do? You are an archer. You a ranger,
I'm an archer. I'm a fighter.
a fighter. All right. And any special skills or powers?
I have arcane capabilities with my arrows.
So he real quick goes through this, and it's pretty standard. He gives everyone except for Rensler a very quizzical look when you all talk about your backgrounds and your alignments to your gods, and like,
I-
is-
Don't tell the truth on mine.
okay, roll deception.
Aw.
He gives you a very appraising. I am one for good jokes too, but we are serious business here. So please, with the truth.
I'm the muscle.
Wait. So is that your deception? Just that you're.
Yeah, like I'm the muscle. I'm the big guy. I move stuff. I hit things hard.
You have
Like
no
I have
other.
a giant club with me. I mean, that's
I feel as though you might be a ranger and just very quiet about it. He writes down ranger when he writes it
question
into
mark.
question marks.
So when it comes to
Yeah.
him when he's talking to me, like I just like when he gets to me, I'm just like, well, obviously, I'm a monk. I don't tell him anything about my monastic traditions or anything, and I just say I'm a monk and I fight. That's what I do.
But you have any special talents along with your monk? Because I've seen a few monks, honestly, who the brewmeisters that like to fight. You get your few tankards in them, and they are unstoppable to punch you.
I mean, I drink. Yeah, I like beer.
So I
and ale.
put down drunken master. You fight drunken style.
Yeah, totally.
Roll deception.
11.
He believes you. Oh, drunken master. That's good. I have some. Maybe later, after, if you will get settled in, and I can introduce you to some other drunken masters I know.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll party it up.
Arrow. And you're, the dark elf woman. Again, with the Minotaur. Typically, you would be on the other side of this, but you are welcome. What is your name?
Aradori.
Air, you spell, please.
No.
And he writes it out as you spell it out. It's like, all right, very good. And
Okay.
you are a wizard, cleric. What you do? What you sing?
I lie. I say I don't have any abilities, but I just let them know that I'm a scholar.
All
I'm
right,
just
roll
looking to
deception.
learn.
Come on, Bailey. Yes, we're keeping the lies up.
Scholars are always good. We will probably take you after your luncheon with Lord Terrathane to the to his holding his library, where you can hopefully divine, because it is an extensive library that he has bought from other lords who fell on the hard times, and it is hopefully you'll find whatever turned
When he says
you know,
hard times,
traitor Bauer
I lean over to
to this dark path. Yeah.
the rack and I'm like, I wish they'd fall on a blade.
So you settle your things. I will be back in a bit for you for your luncheon with the Lord Terrathane. And he turns and leaves.
All right.
Now, your sense of Gate Captain Danielle is that everything that happened up to that point may have been brisk and not strictly polite, but it was literally his job, and he was not purposely being a dick, not trying to be.
That's fine. Doesn't
He's
mean my
just
monk
got
has
a
to like it.
No, that's true. But he's just got a very stern adherence when it comes to work.
So after he leaves, I mean, it looks like we're in privacy at this point.
Yep.
So he never told us the name of the dude that's locked up. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, something about this is off. And I look over at Rack, I'm like, you yourself said that no druid would be a part of this. Can you explain that a little bit? Given that's your house?
Even with my talents, death is not worshipped.
And I look at him, I look at my hand, and I say, willingly.
Death is a natural thing.
Right.
It is
So
not something to be worshipped. It is just something to happen.
Real
Okay.
quick, Rensler and Era, roll me a history check, please.
Even an undead is just something that can occur. It's not a
right. So what if this thing, this abnormally weird looking woman, what if this being or person, what if it's under control, being controlled by something? Because that's the only thing that would kind of allow this to make sense. What if some kind of arcane control or something like that?
I rolled an 11.
Yeah. Okay, real quick. Rensler, you do remember a few years back there was some sort of gathering here, and then something happened. That's the best as you can recall.
Now let's talk about that natural 20 you see up there.
Arrow, you recall
crazy.
there was, and now that you're here and you're starting to hear more about it, you're starting to think that it was the beginnings of this death cult attacked a congress of varied holy people who had gathered to discuss the nature of evil, and that it was rumored that several adventurers had escaped, but one had been taken. And you remember that there was a half-elf rumored to have been taken prisoner by Lord Telrathane, who went by the name Orlash Cindersoul.
Do you have any idea how hard it is for me to not metagame right now? Do you have any idea?
I don't know.
I don't know what the confusion might be about the druid.
So I look at her and I was like, well, obviously you kind of seem to know what's going on here. I was like, do you recall anything around this? What are they calling her? The what mother?
They refer to the misshaped
The matron
maiden
mother?
Matron mother.
is is the dark matron mother.
Right.
Okay. Do you know, like, in your learnings, and just do you recall them saying anything about her being under control or controlled by something? Because from what I'm gathering from Rack, is this is not normal behavior for a druid.
With your history roll, you do remember there were rumors about somebody being in possession of cursed armor.
Cursed armor.
I'm like, and I sit there, I'm like, that makes sense. And I look at like Rack, I'm like, if she's right and what she's picking up is accurate, then we might not even have to kill all these people.
So you're saying they have the hive mentality?
I look over at Rensler and I'm like, no. And look back at Rack and I'm like, something about this isn't right. And I'm sitting there, I was like, I wonder if we've already spoken to somebody that's in that cult. I don't know. Something about this is fishy. Other than the guy you talked to.
Yep, it was him.
If we don't trust these people, since my character is so new, I guess with the knowledge, is it possible that I can like kind of like play into them. Since they see me as a scholar, maybe I can seem eager and want to learn.
I mean,
learn
you would
more for
as a
the
character
party.
be able to manipulate them. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm wondering if I could try to like act like I'm interested in their cult or maybe their ways, and then find out what's going on with all of this while we're here.
That's not a bad idea. I would say that's a fantastic
Loud
idea.
fist bangs on the barracks door.
I say
before
tread
it's
carefully on that, and then
The door swings open. It's the lieutenant that you intimidated earlier with Captain Danielle. You please come. The Lord is ready for his luncheon with you.
well, all right, let's go eat.
They lead you out and up this well manicured lawn up a slight hill. As you're about to go in to the front door, Captain Danielle says, "Please, we are going to the West Garden to enjoy the afternoon sun." He takes you down a gravel path that swings into this white stone wall that's about 5 feet tall. On the other side of it, you can see trees and you can hear birds chirping, and the wind coming in is just very cooling and relaxing. When you enter this wrought iron gate, you are in kind of like a small park. There are several trees with tables. Right up against the manse wall, outer wall, is a long trestle table with food. There are several high-ranking nobility members here, and Lord Telrathane is sitting at a table under like a high-backed chair under a tree, just kind of enjoying soft music that's being played by several bards that are kind of wandering around, coordinatedly
pack of
playing
minstrels?
music. Yep. When he sees the captain come in, he goes, and everyone keeps kind of talking around him.
I would
Please,
like
to be comfortable and sit.
Sure. Have a seat.
You the good captain tells me that you all have mostly a muscle sort of fighting, and you have a scholar, which is very good. I think that, well, I know that the cult was originally started by a former servant of mine, Bauer, who is now hated in my heart for betraying me, and he is going to be dealt with. I am looking forward to. Yeah. So if this is your intention to help, I am welcome. Now, Miss, you are welcome to eat as much as you want, but if you are of a mind, I can have the captain take you to the library now, and they can put you to good use right now.
I jump on that, yeah.
All right.
That's a good exit. That's gonna be a good exit.
Speak later, please, to take notes and find you a good way of trying to understand what's happened. They already pulled several hundred volumes that he has read over his time with me, so hopefully there's clues in there. I wish you a good day. And with that, he kind of just like turns back to the others.
And the last thing though, like I kind of like, I give you guys a look. Like I've already kind of discussed what my idea was,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to try to see what I can figure out while I'm there. And I leave.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Have a good night.
All right, so let's do that as she breaks away. Let's go ahead and take a pee break, and then we come back in about 5.
Cool.
Sound good?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Yes. She boosted out quick.
I mean, it really kind of just worked out. She said she had to go. It's like, cool. Here's your exit.
Yeah, it's nice when that happens.
All right, I'll be right back.
Well,
Sounds good. I'm gonna go find a snack.
snacks. Hey, so what is a ability score increase? What is an ability score? Because I get one at level 3 and at level 5. I think the ability score is like Dex and Strength and all other stuff, right?
What's up?
What's an ability score?
The modifier.
No, you get one at 4th and then at 6th. But you the feat that you have,
What do you mean?
I believe me.
Yeah, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20.
So how do I change the mod though?
You don't.
Does it do it for me automatically? Because I'm supposed to get an increase at level 4.
Well,
Did you take a feat?
no. You have a feat called Snap Shooter. which you can get rid of and take the ability score improvement if you want to, but Snap Shooter gets it to where you can use a ranged weapon to make an opportunity attack within 15 feet, which is extremely good.
So for
Yeah,
more for close quarters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can use your bow to make opportunity attacks at up to 15 feet. So if somebody tries to run away from you within 15 feet of you, you can, as
Snap
a
shoot.
reaction. Yeah.
And then where do I add that ability? Well, no, where do I add the score to?
It's one or the other. You don't get both.
You either take the feat or you take an ability mod.
Oh, gotcha. And then if I didn't take that, what would the ability be? Is it like strength, dex, all that other stuff, or is it
You get to
modified?
pick. It's a +2 to anything.
Well,
Yeah.
+1 or 2, yeah.
Well, it's +2 to
Maximum
anything,
of
or
2.
+1 to 2 different things.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I'm learning.
What?
I.
That.
Oh, no.
Man, the numbers for this virus are just crazy as shit.
For every 14 people that would catch the flu, 59,000 people will catch corona, or for COVID,
Yep. So
which is why I've been home for the past week.
11% of the people infected in Italy are actually dead.
And it'll be just as bad here.
Well, Italy has one of the oldest countries, right? Oldest demographic. Where their average age
I'm
there is
coming.
like between 50 and 65. Ours here is between like 26 and 40.
Another part of the problem
I
is
tucked the girlfriend into bed.
Italy
My apologies.
has like a lot of their cities are super cramped, like New York, Los Angeles, all that stuff. That's why it's so widespread there and less in less densely populated areas. Oh,
I
surprisingly,
mean,
when you jab
we've
it,
doubled 1,000. We've doubled the deaths that we've had in 3 days. Because day before yesterday they were at 1,000. Now they're at 2,227 according to Johnny Hopkins. John Hopkins and Dave Ketterling. We used to blaze that shit up.
I walked on by.
so what you think so far? You having fun?
Always.
What Chambo is
All right.
discussing is
All right.
Orlash Cindersoul was an NPC character who I played in Adventure League, who saved them several times in their early adventures in Campaign 1.
Oh, you're
Nico
telling him
from
that
the last one.
about all this stuff?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nico
Like-
from the last one.
Yeah, where, like, the first time they had to do anything with this...
Oh my
cultist-
god, it fucking worked!
What?
Nice.
What? What did?
Oh, I dropped the stream for me. Weird.
Yeah, me too.
I'm trying to watch. Priscilla just says we'll be right back.
It'll flip over in just a minute.
I know, I'm waiting. Anyway,
I like it.
so Lord Tower thing goes, the rest of you, this cultist reached out to you, and he want to, he wants you to go with him to meet the leader. Now, I don't know if this is the misshaped maiden, or if this is Bauer. But if it is Bauer, I would like Bauer's head on a platter.
I want to, because I'm not people. I want to look at the table where
Mhm.
they have everything. I want to like pick up a platter and like slide the food off onto another platter and hold it up like this one.
Yes, that.
Thank
Very
you,
good.
Swan. Swan says
and
hi.
Stick it with, and like I'm gonna stick it in my pack or like.
But not specifically that one. If you tell, yes, we can get you the platter when you tell me you are ready to kill him. I will literally bring you a platter.
You literally want his head on a platter, like in a literal sense.
Yes, I would absolutely love. I would also love my little puppy to stop playing with my children's toys when I'm working. So, yes, but when you tell me you have found Bauer and you're going to get his head, I will give you the platter then.
Okay.
It was a metaphor, but if you are so gun-ho about it, I will make it happen. Um, uh, this is what I have. More and more people come here. We cannot find them. Um,
Pause. Everybody say goodnight to Swan. Good night,
Good night,
Swan.
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 and good night, Swan. It is lovely to see you again.
Mhm.
So, we have this problem. They come here, but they don't stay here. I cannot find them. And there are now rumors of others like the Misshaped Maiden with unusual powers for them, for the person. And now I have to crush them before it gets too far out of hand. Very little is known about these. They call her Dark Mother. Yes, I know this is annoying in the background.
I look
True
around.
color.
I'm like, what is that? Is there a little one
My
around here?
children. I have children toys made for local orphanages
Mhm.
since they have no mama and papa, and they are enchanted to wondrous effect for a year or two.
So you
And
so
apparently, some of them were left out by my tinkerers.
well. Speaking of enchantments, I could use one.
But we weren't speaking per se of enchanters. We were speaking of a cult, which I have to deal with.
Mm.
Before this, more of these misshapen maiden type people stop running around, and we have more problems than we already have.
So have you seen more than one?
No, I have not, but I have heard rumors that there are more people displaying strange powers, and in a very similar style of armament and
Mhm.
weaponry, born in leather.
So
I'm thinking it is some sort of enchanted armor.
do you think this armor, as it were, is controlling this person, and it's not the person that's necessarily evil or bad?
I could not say. It is years since I've met this Freya, the misshapen maiden. Is named Freya. She was a druid woman, short dwarf. I met her years ago at a congress to discuss the nature of evil with religious, there are archdruids and priests of different faiths. There was even a merfolk worshipping half-elf, and he insisted the escape of these peoples. And so I have detained him. He's still here in the dungeons.
Can we request a meeting with this Orlash, I believe they said his name was?
Yes, his name is Olash Cindersol. Why would you wish to speak with?
I just kind of want to talk to him about what's going on because I don't necessarily think that this matron mother, this dark matron mother, is necessarily bad. And
I think there is some confusion. They either refer to her as the mother or the dark matron. Otherwise,
oh,
it is
the mother
asinine.
and the dark matron are the same. Okay.
Yes, they are the same, but I think some people drop the dark and simply refer to her as matron mother, which is asinine because it means mother mother.
Okay.
So it is, I think, supposed to be dark matron or the mother, depending on how closely you follow her cult.
Okay.
I suppose arrangements could be made. He is a very surly prisoner, as you might expect after being in the dungeons for 4 years.
And you guys just think he's a part of it. That's why he's locked up.
We, I am not certain of his allegiance, although he has over 4 years and many sessions of questioning maintained that he is simply a worshipper of Edro, and these people were good friends, and he had had several adventures with them. But I cannot excuse the fact he let his Freya, and I later found out her vampire companion, to leave my town when they had caused a problem. So he is in prison for aiding and abetting and suspicion of cultry activity.
And you don't really have, I mean, other than the fact that he let him out, you have zero proof that he's affiliated with this cult.
Cannot substantiate the cult bit. Yeah, that is true. Cannot substantiate that he is a cultist, but we can 100% because I was there when he attacked my guard to allow them to get away to a portal, and that is why he is still locked up.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to meet with him. I'd like to ask him some questions.
I will make these arrangements for you. I have other things to attend to. As he waves and Captain Danielle comes back. You will take them to the dungeons to meet the prisoner, and he will answer any questions, or there will be unpleasantness for him.
Okay. I'm gonna need to pause because I'm gonna have to ask you a question because I'm a little confused as me. So from that last campaign, from what we're doing right now, are these running in parallel or is this after the fact?
This is 4 years later.
Okay, so all right, that's all I need to know.
You guys showed up. You guys in the last campaign caused a brouhaha.
Mm-hmm.
And Orlash covered for you to get away.
Right, but fast
he didn't
forward.
Get away.
No, I remember him staying back. I remember that. But yeah. Freya in the last campaign also renounced the mother too.
So in the interim years, something happened.
Oh, okay. So, that's fine. I was just confused because it seemed like we were parallel. That's why I was asking.
No, that's fine. So you'll take them down. He will answer questions. If he answers without the difficulties, perhaps we can make arrangements for some sort of treat or reward for good behavior.
For him?
And the captain for the Cinder Sword, yeah.
Okay.
And I will... Captain Daniel will be your liaison to me from here on.
Okay. I'm like, Rack, Rensler, let's go ask this guy some questions.
All right.
You are taken now into the house, into like the main courtyard, and then there's a sweeping double staircase, but under one side is a kind of walled off section with a door that leads down into a tight spiral.
Okay.
To where you hit when you get to this landing that this tight spiral opens up on. Rack, you find it a little difficult to walk through. You're basically just the whole time sideways going down it. It is much cooler down here. Not even beyond the fact that you're now below the ground. And it's about 40 feet long to another staircase that leads even farther down. In total, you're about 80 feet under the garden. And there's a long line of gated cells with only one prisoner.
All right, you guys go ahead and do what you gotta do. I'm gonna go put some in the oven. I'm pretty hungry.
Then Captain Daniel. Sorry, dusty down here. Sorry. Through the iron bars that block off the exit into the cells, there's a guard sitting there. He's reading a book, and he kind of snaps it and stands at attention when Captain Danielle shows up. Says, You'll open gate, and these men are to give full access to the prisoner. Do not let the gate open, as we have had to fire and bury several guards because of such mistakes. But you are allowed them unlimited access to talk to him, and he will be rewarded for participating of free will in this interview. And the echoing quality of this 80-foot chamber, you see a hand lean out from the bars at the very far end. Well, that is not a good start. All right, good luck. I will be up on the next floor. Is there anything you need or want brought down?
No.
All right, then I leave you to your work. Please to stop on the next floor up before you go back out. Good luck. The gate is opened into the cell area, and the guard just kind of, the captain said unrestricted access. Talk to him as long as you wish. The second you all pass through, he shuts and locks the gate again.
I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna hold my hand up to the gate. I'm gonna ask for the keys. Keys
I'm
for the
afraid not.
shackles.
I,
You said unlimited.
He's not shackled, and I
Oh,
cannot.
he's not shackled.
No,
I misunderstood then. My mistake. Sorry. You can scratch that.
quite all right.
I thought
Quite
he
all
was
right.
shackled.
When you walk the 80 feet down to a cell, it's a 10 by 15 cell. Fairly clean, fairly dry, not a whole lot of rats or anything. Other than it being a little cold down here, but he's provided with a cot and a blanket of stout wool. He's obviously a prisoner, but it's not a happy place. But it's not the shittiest place you've ever seen when you think dungeon.
But
My character is visibly like uncomfortable and angry.
look over at Rack. I ask him, what's wrong, man?
It's not gonna answer. Just completely stoned.
I ask him if he could pass some of it. I had to. Man. So I kind of like I look at him. I'm kind of just thinking that maybe it might have something to do with him having kind of like flashing back to what he dealt with the cultists and just not being happy. So I kind of just pat him on his shoulder. And I kind of walk over to Orlash.
You see a figure kind of pacing around, very gaunt, thin. His long blonde hair is kind of lank, and he turns back and he stares at you with these piercing eyes. He looks very kind of haunted.
I look at him. I'm like, can I can I get you anything, like at all? I just
gonna
have some
walk up.
questions.
I'm gonna burn a spell slot, actually.
Okay.
I'm gonna offer him a good berry.
Oh, nice.
You summon your 10 good berries, and the second you reach your hand through, they dissipate.
I'm like, what happened just now? Is there any type of like aura or anything coming off of the cell or anything in here that I'm
Arcana?
picking up on? Can I roll an Arcana check?
Roller, kind of. When Orlash sees you contemplating, he goes, I'm a cleric of a storm god.
I don't know.
I rolled a 12.
I have killed several of their guards in an attempt to free myself. They enchanted the bars so I couldn't use magic.
Look over it. At Rack, I'm like, metagame. Do you know to spell magic? Maybe. All right, now back to all seriousness.
The second you said it, he's like, "Don't do it. You'll end up in one of these cells too."
I why, I guess, is really just the question that I have. Why did you help them escape?
He stops pacing and just stares at you for a second. He goes, "For the first month, I didn't doubt my decision. For the first 6, I thought surely my friends would come back and clear this up. For the last 3.5 years, I've asked myself that same question."
Where were your, I mean, I don't want to call them friends at this point. Where were they headed last you heard?
If I remember, because all I get is questions about cultist and why was I here. I came for the meeting of the holy people. They came to get some artifact or something back for some do-gooder dragon, I think.
Mm.
I mean, I think he was half dragon, but
And
yeah.
at that point, I take my remember the etching that I
Mhm.
did? I take an what do you know about this symbol here?
I've been shown it several times, and I'll tell you the same thing I've told those assholes. Not a fucking thing.
I actually, I believe him.
Hmm.
I look over at Rack and I'm like, "What's up, man? What are you thinking?"
Guy sounds
Go ahead
like
and talk. I
he's
gotta do
insane.
this.
It's. He said the bars were enchanted. Is the cell enchanted,
Or
or is
just
it just the
Roll
bars? Like
Arcana.
you can't. Okay. I didn't know if he would have tried things, or if you figured out that it was you just couldn't get through, kind of thing, or if it was everything there has been put under.
what is this?
13 again.
You're not sure how far past the bars the enchantment extends.
I do.
You know that storm clerics don't really have any powers. Like they have projection type powers, so the gate, the gate itself is probably all that's enchanted.
Okay.
Let me. I'm gonna look at it and this is no way to punish somebody, even for murder or any
No,
atrocities.
had I murdered them, well, I did murder some guards, but had I murdered others, I'd have been executed long before now.
This is no way to keep a person. You will be freed.
Shall we?
Uh, don't give hope to a doomed man.
You're not doomed. You're just delayed.
I'm gonna lift my head up a little bit. I'm gonna pull my cowl back. I'm gonna say, I understand.
There's a zealous light that burns in his eyes. He said, "You know a damn thing."
We shall speak later. I'm going to start like really examining the structure and seeing if there's any cracks or any place where the mortar even has a hole in it or anything inside the cell.
Okay, roll investigation.
Button. 14.
It is a lot of care and craftswork.
Did my mic
craftsmanship.
not mute?
No, it did. I can just read lips.
Oh, nice.
real care was taken in the construction of this. And this building, while it's a grand looking place, isn't really that old. Maybe 10 years.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to Lee. I'm gonna say, comes with us.
I look at you and I straight up say, you and I are 100% on the same boat. I agree.
Absolutely.
I just,
The second you say that, he looks at you. I get out of the cell. I'm leaving this godforsaken town.
and if I were you, I'd never come back.
Yeah.
No, it's literally godforsaken.
Why?
Do you know what it's like for 4 years to not be able to talk to your god?
I look at him, look at Rack, look at Runsler, say, a little bit, yeah, I do.
Rough.
It has taken the mightiest maelstrom to blow off the Sword Coast for me to even sense the presence of my god.
What do you know about Freya?
I remember, I think she had a wand made out of bone, a femur, that
Boner wand.
and it let her shoot scorching rays.
Did this wand, or whatever you want to call it, this femur, was it controlling her? Was something controlling her?
Not that I know of.
So you don't know if she was under some type of spell or some type of control.
I didn't sense any spells on her when I knew her last.
What's the structure made of? I know we're in the basement. The basement's
Um,
basement.
Stone.
It's made of stone.
Okay, and
I'm like, hey guys, I have an idea. Before you start scheming, before we start doing things that we shouldn't, and trust me, I want to. Believe you me, I want to. What if we can get this guy released on some type of furlough under our supervision? Not saying that I don't trust you. And let's say we try to make a deal, and let's go bring
Cannot
this.
deal with these people. They've held him for 4 years on nothing.
yeah, look how they treated us.
No, they held me on 4 years for aiding and abetting criminals.
Unknowingly.
No, I knew they were doing dumb shit. I helped them on purpose.
I got an idea. So obviously,
Okay.
time out. Go ahead.
I completely misunderstood that earlier. Then I thought he was like helped him because he thought they were his friends, and they were. It was a
Oh
misunderstanding.
no,
And he got screwed.
He knew that they were doing something, and
Yeah.
he was just helping them escape.
Yeah, he did help them escape,
Honestly, thought that they were going to come back and clear everything up.
and we were
So
supposed
he knew
to.
that
So
they
at
were
the end
doing
of that
shady
game,
stuff, and
when we never
he
came
was the
back to
fall
it
guy.
after we finished that fight, we were on our way back to this town. Our characters were on our way back to this town, but that was the last game. Like, we didn't make it here.
Okay.
It stopped right there.
So he was the fall guy, but it was all shady stuff anyway.
Not necessarily the fall guy, but ended up being that guy. But there was good intention behind what he did.
But it was actually stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
wasn't just, oh, my friends are my friends.
No,
and
he
they're not
was a
doing that
willing
stuff.
participant
Go.
in shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, in that case, never mind. I'm good with it. 'Cause, okay, it's when he says that, I like my whole facade changes, and I'm like,
But there would have been a lot of
Misjudged.
repercussions though if he never did that.
right.
Like bad shit. Like, not going into too much detail because the whole Freya thing was super dope. It was really, really fucking cool.
So, yeah,
but
when he
anyways,
when he brings that to light for my character suddenly gets a look and he's like, maybe a furlough's a good idea.
and I feel that if they grant us this, And I look over at Orlash and I was like, I'm not saying I don't trust you, but if we can get you out of here, are you willing to help us? And
No.
you're not.
Last time I helped someone, I got stuck in a dungeon for 4 years.
I'm like, well, with all due respect, we're not those other people. And
We're
if
not.
we also can get your freedom guaranteed for release after going and taking care of this cult and bringing back this literal head on a platter they want, are you willing to help us? And after that, you can leave, you can do what you want, you can disappear.
No.
You would rather just stay here?
Yeah. Then trust people again? Yeah.
Kind of lean in close, look over at Rack. I'm like, when I look at Rack, there's a lot of shitty fucking people in this world, and a lot of people that do some really, really bad things. I look down at the hand tattoo I have on my hand with the triangles. I'm like, I don't even know my parents. I don't know my family. And I look over at Rack. I'm like, this guy right here was, for the lack of a better word, I don't know how long he was in there, but I'm pretty sure this guy was locked up in a cell 3 times smaller than yours because these sick fucks were going to sacrifice him to whatever the fuck this entity, this evil thing is. And I look over at Rack again. I'm like, I did not have reason to trust him. And I still don't. I was like, but what I do have is faith in what he's bringing to our group. If you want to call that trust, then so be it. And I look back over to Orlash, and I look at Rinsler. I was like, even this guy, he might not be the brightest crayon on the box, but you know what? He can sure as shit shoot a fucking bow and arrow. And he brings something to this team that is highly beneficial as well. I look at Orlash. I was like, you know what? We might not trust each other, but you know what? We're fucking working together for a common cause and a common goal, and that's to eradicate this death cult that is bringing death and pain and suffering to... Honestly, I don't give a shit about this town, and I don't give a shit about anybody here. What I do care about is innocent people dying and innocent people being killed that... 46 minutes that don't deserve it. And if you want to sit here and you want to be upset about that, then you have every right to be. But just know that when we walk out of this room, you had a fucking out. And I turn away and I start walking away just like I do now.
he literally and figuratively just walked away. That's great. I love it.
As Lee turns to walk away,
Okay,
Are we starting a slow clap?
that's kind of disappointing, but okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the jailer. I'm gonna ask for the key. Like, I'm gonna just give me the key.
what? Why do you need the key?
There's no threat. It's time to end this.
He's no threat. He's killed 7 guards.
And he deserves execution.
You will have to talk to Captain Danielle or Lord Telverthane to secure release, but I'm
There will
afraid I
be no
can't do that.
release. His time has come.
No, you must. It must come from them.
So I'm
sorry.
going to take it.
Okay, roll.
And if I have to tussle him or pick him up and like take it off of him physically, I will take it.
You're still inside the cage area. He hasn't let you out yet.
Oh, well, after leaving.
Okay, roll
I would
strength.
done this face to face.
Okay, roll opposed strength.
With advantage, because I'm huge, bitch.
Good.
Where's my button? 16.
Okay. You managed to wrench the key from him.
I'm gonna drag him back with me.
And I helped him, obviously.
The second,
All right. Side note: I
Grab-
hear everything you're doing. What was the clap? I heard you clapping. Was he saying, "Oh, good show"? Is that?
yeah, the second you walk, sorry, he started slow
Pretty
clapping
much.
you down the hall. I was like, good, ideals. Woo.
Okay.
Being a
Um,
dickhead about it, for sure.
The second you grab a hold of the key, alarms
I'm
start blaring,
outside.
That's
Fish
fine.
sticks?
and
I-
then you
Bad
hear the
stuff.
clatter of armored figures running.
So I'm just gonna take him. I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna walk through. I'm gonna pull out my club. I'm just gonna kill the guy.
Okay.
Well, here we go. Let's bring up the map.
Roll your attack.
You're trying to kill Orlash?
No, the guard.
No, Orlash.
Oh.
And you're aiding and abetting with an execution.
I'm not. I'm outside. I'm
No,
outside.
Rensler.
Oh,
is.
Rensler is, yeah.
Rensler said he was helping him.
God damn it.
14, 16 with advantage if I have it.
Okay. He takes 12 points of damage. He's still standing.
I'm just gonna keep swinging on. Like I'm just.
That's fine. The second you walk in, you need to make a. Hang on.
Like, this guy is fucking badass. I don't know what you're doing.
Weird there, kid. Is that fish sticks or cheese?
Mozzarella sticks.
Oh, hang on.
Ugh,
I don't have his character sheet, so I don't remember what his spell is. But
no,
give me one second.
I want to attack.
Do, 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 do.
I promised him freedom. I can't leave without doing something. He's not gonna be in the cell any longer, one way or the other.
Do, do, do.
He takes another 11 damage from me.
My character has a big problem with prisons and
Okay.
people being shitty. Not him
Well-
being shitty, but them being shitty and not doing what they should have done to him.
Hang on, I gotta look up the spell Spirit Guardian.
Oh, you're fine. I just need to know what kind of spell it is.
It is a concentration. So you both get your attacks on him. So
Well, no, Rat gets 2 attacks, right? Because we're all level 5. So roll again, Rat.
Oh, I don't. I just get one.
Oh.
okay, so he's taken 23 points of damage. Okay. The spell is surprisingly he's sparing the guard, but motes of lightning are now dancing around him. They look like merfolk with lightning spears.
I guess that would be.
You guys need to make wisdom saving throws.
Wait, is that? Hang on. I need to look this up because I think that's supposed to be a reaction. I think I typed it in wrong.
What's that?
I want to make sure before I say anything.
Looks like Rensler's already dead. He's already rolling death saves.
No, that is an action.
Just preparing, you know.
You
Weird.
might want to.
I thought that was a reaction. Huh. Dispel's not a reaction. Oh, that's counterspell. That's right. Wait, did I?
I'm gonna double check the level I can cast it at.
Yeah, I don't get counterspell. Okay, I do get dispel.
If it's any consolation, when we finished last campaign, we were level 8, and that dude was like 3 or 4 ahead of us.
It's fine. You said wisdom.
Yes.
I still have my old character sheet.
That's not a problem for me.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
I got a 15.
Okay. You got a 15?
Mhm.
Fail.
Okay.
What was your wisdom save?
Oh, wisdom save. Whoops, sorry. 18.
Okay. Okay. So you guys, well, I'm sorry, what was it? 18? You save. So you'll take half this damage.
18d20. What?
6, 12, 15, 19. All right, so Rack, you take 19 points of damage from these little merfolk stabbing
19.
you with lightning.
Okay.
Renzo, you
Renzler's
take
8.
half that, so you take 9.
Okay.
Did he hit with 19 or 18?
19.
He takes
Oh.
half. He saved.
Yeah. But I thought you
rounded
said
up.
18. I didn't know it was 19.
He does not make a move toward the gate, and you also note that the spirit guardians aren't attacking
The guard.
the guard. Yeah. You
Which
also
is
hear
curious.
more people running down, and you hear them yelling, "Oh God, he's gotten out again!"
All right. So.
And I'm
So
just
next
like
round-
outside, what the fuck
You
is
see-
going on?
You go up to the second floor with Captain Danielle. You hear the alarms. He goes running off, and then you see a whole bunch of armored guys running down the cell.
And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, what the fuck did they do?
Okay,
Alright,
so
you
since
guys-
the cell door is open, is the enchantment on it gone?
No,
Okay, so I
any
have
of the spirit
to-
guardians that hit there disappear. But it's a 15-foot area, so basically the spirit guardians are everywhere. If you stay in the cell with him, you're going to get hit with this attack every turn.
All right, so
Now hold on, real quick. I gotta double check one more. If you
Fucking spirit guardians, man. Oh god, and all I can think about.
wait, he's out of his cage though, right?
No,
no,
we're in the
he's still
cage.
in the.
He's still
You
inside.
guys walked into the.
I'm in the cage at least.
He's still in there, and the guard that you drug in with you not affected by the spell. Okay, you guys get your attacks again.
All right, so Is there enough room to draw my bow in here?
You've already shot him, so I'd assume yes.
Okay. All right, I will use my second wind, so I get 4 attacks, right?
3. I reread second. It doesn't give you bonus actions again. It just gives you an additional action.
Right, but whenever he takes an action, he gets 2 attacks.
Oh, okay.
So it would be 4.
It'd be 4, but since we're inside of the cage, my magic arrows should work, right?
You don't know.
I don't want to chance wasting it, but all right, just 4 regular shots of non-enchanted arrows.
Okay. Okay, he's unconscious.
Yes.
Like, wow, okay.
The spirit guardians fade.
He
Okay.
doesn't
I'm
have
gonna,
any armor or anything, so.
Coup de
Oh
grace.
man, finish him off.
I'm just gonna
Okay.
smash his head with my giant club.
Okay. 2 death saves because he can't fight back. The guard, now that you guys are actively attacking, who's a bigger threat? Probably you. The guard draws his sword and takes a swipe at you.
Why?
22.
That hits.
Okay. It's only a long sword, so it's not
No, I'm not worried about that.
for 1 point of damage. No, it would be 6 points of damage.
Okay.
If you're going to continue, because now the cell is filling up with more guards, seeing you attacking an unconscious prisoner, we're going to have to roll initiative.
I would.
And the guard that just attacked you has adjusted, so he's in between you and Orlash.
Okay. I would request before we roll anything a death save for Orlash,
Okay.
just to see if I see him stop breathing.
He saves.
Okay.
It's not dead yet.
So I want to very slowly take my club, put my club up, hold my hands up, and like toss the keys and back out. And on my way, while I'm backing out, I want to activate my spores on Orlash.
Okay.
Since I'm
Nice.
still in the cage and he's doing
follow
magic
up.
in the cage, I'm just gonna like. Tink. Okay.
Okay. So what is it?
It is. Con save, but since he's unconscious,
Here.
I don't know how that works with him being unconscious.
Why are you doing acrobatic checks?
I'm because since he's backing out, right? So you're
Mhm.
backing out of the cage, but obviously there's a lot more pouring in. I am jumping and then bouncing off the heads outwards. Don't die.
Okay, let's deal with that real quick.
Lots of opportunity attacks is what that is. Like I've relinquished my weapons and everything. I'm just like, okay, I'm done.
Enough people are hitting you that after your like third or fourth bounce, you go tumbling to the ground.
I rolled a 27. Come on.
Yep.
that's-
But there's how
But
many
every
people
time
in
you
there?
move through a
You're
person,
rolling every single one, man.
as an opportunity attack to hit you.
Oh no, they're trying to grab you, so they're not really stopping you, but enough of them are getting their hands on you that you're not flipping anymore. All right. Yeah.
While I hear
Uh,
this, I want to make my way down the stairs just to see what's going on.
Okay. Hang on.
I'm about to be kicked out of town, and I'm okay with that. Nobody should be held prisoner for 4 years without cause.
They
I
had
mean,
cause.
They had cause to execute. But that's a conversation we can get into whenever I'm on
Right,
trial.
Also,
Okay. We can make a con save. So give me a sec.
you can make a con save unconscious.
You have
it's your
disadvantage
body
on
fighting it.
strength. You have disadvantage on strength. No, you automatically fail strength and strength and dexterity.
Okay.
But your
Does not say
fighting
anything
fights
about
it
it.
off directly because
Yeah.
it's con. And be DC 15.
It just makes it.
It's fine. I tried.
Captain Danielle.
Let me say, as long as he's within, how far is that? I think it's 10 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure. Yeah, as long as I'm within 10 feet of him, I'm gonna like keep activating it to kind of.
Oh, that's fine.
Sneak
You
up.
guys are being hard pushed out down to the end by the gate.
Yeah, that's fine.
Danielle goes into the cell and starts talking to the like, how did he try and escape? What happened? Or, like, these are enchanted bars. He shouldn't be able to do magic after them. The other
I'm
guards
just gonna
like,
step forward. I'm like, there was no escape. The guard's not at fault.
oh, well, this is what you call a pickle. So you attacked a locked up prisoner.
He admitted guilt with having ties to the cult. He had no useful information. I was doing justice, what y'all have not done for 4 years. He had served his time.
He had served his time. He had not served his time. His time is 10 years for aiding and abetting criminal activities. He's only been in here for 4.
With the murders, his time was death. He has that now.
Lord Delvathane had decided that these were the desperate actions of a man, and he would just simply serve his 10 years and then go.
He
I'm going
had.
to need you to step in one of these cells and disarm yourself,
Okay.
and we will try and clear this up.
Okay.
and the archer 2. Would you like to be in the same cell or separate?
Separate.
Very well. Not
I'm standing
unkindly, the
behind
guards
everybody, and
are
I'm just like,
taking.
I'm gonna pull my way into a cell
They start.
completely willingly, like hand
Yeah.
on my club very slowly and like pull my way in.
Okay. What about you, Rensler? Are you gonna fight being imprisoned, or are you?
you're muted.
You're muted.
Thank you. How many guards are
20.
there?
Like it's for a wide hallway to get through all these prisons, to all these cells. It's very cramped all of a sudden.
Alright, I guess I'll abide. Yeah, I'm not gonna attack anybody. That's just dumb.
All right,
died.
please hand
I
over
know.
the bow and the arrows.
Okay,
Your,
I hand
your
him
sword.
I hand him the
Excuse
bow
me.
and the arrow. What?
Yeah.
Before you go, a paper, a quill. I would like to leave a note.
Okay. Certainly. I could deliver a message for you. I assume to your monk friend upstairs.
Absolutely. I want to apologize for any trouble, and I want you all to know I acted of my own will. They were not
Uh,
involved.
About that time, Lee walks back in and is like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
I'm like, I look down, I see Orlash just beat to shit.
He died with arrows sticking out of him.
Potentially died. He has only rolled one death save. He only got to fail one, but
Failed
he still
2.
could die. Well, he has 2 fails, but he's only failed 1, so he can
Right.
still come out of it. But unlikely.
Yeah, no, you definitely see as soon as you guys are
Potion.
out of the cell, the guard is pouring a health potion down his throat. So you know they stabilize him immediately.
This close. It's fine.
I'm just like sitting there, just dumbfounded as what happened. Really not surprised that Rensler did something, but looking more like it. Like I just walk up to Rack as he's being put in a cell, and I'm just like, just no words, just disappointment.
I'm just gonna once again and be like, "You'll see the bird
But there is
come dawn."
there is this to clear up now, and they are thankfully going peaceably into the cells. You may keep your armor, but no weapons. So if you please hand all over, so we don't have to pat you down. I text you word.
I go to like reach up and I grab my horn and I'm like,
Obviously, that can stay. Unless Lord Towerthane demands it, and then we will come in and cut them off. It will probably go poorly for everyone then. But may I ask why you attacked a prisoner and a guardsman?
Guardsman was not attacked. He is without injury.
Well, I mean, he was brought into a cell and made to watch you attack a prisoner. So at the very least, accosted.
He was in no harm.
Oh, he came well.
Nobody deserves to be a prisoner like that. There are other ways to punish.
All right, then I will speak to Lord Tervathane, and we will sort through this messy business. He turns and looks at the guardsman that you took the key from. He's like, "You are relieved of duty. Go back to your barracks. 2 guardsmen will now take the watch. The prisoner will be provided a clerk, and that will be all for now. You, monk, will come with me."
All right, and I'm just like, I still have like my hood on and stuff. It's just sitting there, and like for the first time in a while, like they see me kind of pull it off. Like I'm just sitting there with that like grayish white mohawk, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just looking back at him, and I just kind of put my head down, turn around, and follow Danielle.
It's at this exact moment you realize that Theris and Shilga have not been with you guys since the barracks.
I'm sure. I was aware. I just never asked.
All right.
That's fine.
And that's where we'll stop for the night.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's 10 o'clock.
So that's been an interesting turn of events.
Yes, we're in prison.
I'm serious about people being in prison for the stuff like for that long. Whenever it could be, oh, here we're gonna do this, and you're gonna be doing other stuff, or you can be made useful in doing this stuff, and like somebody just being locked in a cell like that is just like the worst thing in the world for me.